All right, I do believe we are up and running. Hey, how you doing this morning? I've got a little bit of a different, hold on. I don't want to lean and hunch too much and kill my back. Okay, I got a different little plan today. Starting with, as you see on the screen, Vic Kangas, the early years. These are things that I've done in the past, like it says 2 years ago and stuff, so I was a little rusty. But it'll, like, show you some early days, because the last race I did was Dad's official last race. But he already, like I said, he's always been a consultant, still is. Yeah. So this is a little bit different take. And also I had a request for Sonoma 07, which I would like to see that too, because I've never seen that before myself. So let's go get a little history on Miss T's dad, Vic Kangas. Let's go. They're probably gonna have ads. Oh.
Vic Kangas. And he was a chassis man for many people. He was a crew chief at times. He was a chassis consultant at times. He was a shock builder at times. He was in charge of cars. He was a car manager, different cars at different places. He has worked for people
Oops, audio.
that are very
Let me
well
speed
known in
me
racing.
up. I was a little slow thinking then.
None of it
New.
is probably documented, because he was one of those guys that kind of would show up at the track when someone would say, we'll pay you to come to the track and set up our car. Now, all of this came about because of his early days. And the reason his cars went fast is because of a Formula One background that kind of infiltrated into the modified front chassis design. That doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but when you figure out that your top A-frame should be level and things like that, it matters. It matters because only 4 tires touch the track, and that's where you need to look. If the car comes in, you take your tire temperatures, all 3 across the top. You can't just take 1, you got to take all 3. If it's, anyway, you can set up the car from your tire temps alone, because that's really your only indicator of what is driving. Anyway, on the track, you talk about grip. That's your grip. Your tires are your high track, and you kind of see the transition from these cars to modifieds, which became the 3-window, 5-window coupes of the day. Now, this man here, Marty Hardy, is a very influential person in my dad's racing career. Marty was stationed in Italy during the war, and he ended up bringing the Formula One geometry, front-end geometry. He had measured all the cars and wrote it all down and brought it home and started being a car builder here in New England as well. He was more New Hampshire based, and he built cars for people like Ernie Gahan as well. Ernie Gahan is another person that my dad has also worked on cars from back in the day. So his racing career at this point was New
Ernie's
England,
picture's
and
top
starting
left
to go
corner in my
into Albany,
banner.
New York, which was west of
The 50,
Massachusetts.
number
So he's starting to
50.
branch out a little bit more, 100 miles or so. 1971 is this picture.
Might be
This picture here
73.
is when my father went to race modifieds, and this was taken at Trenton.
See, some of this was old.
Trenton was a former horse racing track, Coliseum, so to speak, of the day, and this awning is very, very significant as far as saying that's Trenton. In my mind, anyway. I could be wrong. I'll check with Dad. But I believe that was when
it was
Ronnie
Trenton.
drove for Dick Armstrong at Trenton. Now, to get to that point, to get from Westboro, Brookline closed, my dad started building cars for Ronnie Bouchard's dad, the Red and White Movers car, and he raced with them for 4 years. In between, though, we went to Florida. I believe we took this little coupe and went to Florida. I remember it on a trailer. And we raced down there because racing season had ended up here. Now, when Brookline Speedway closed, I asked my dad if he ever drove. I didn't think my mom really liked him driving, but he drove at Whalum ice racing. And this is the coolest little video. If it's got music and stuff. If it's too loud, I apologize, but I don't think it's going to be. I hope I got my things right. But my dad said he took a car from the woods like, we had that used car lot there from his other uncle, so he had all these little old cars available that people traded in or whatever. And he took a car that looked like a skunk, and he raced ice racing here at Willam Lake. It might be this car right here. I'm going to ask Dad. It might be these cars here. But there was 3 black and white cars, and I know they didn't race that long. It seemed to me the following year, maybe the wrecker truck fell through the ice or something. I remember these doors opening, okay? I was probably, this was ice racing in 1966, maybe 65, no, 64 maybe.
62 or 3.
64, because we went to West Palm Beach in 65.
63
in
or
1964,
64.
I would have been 3 years old, so I would be old enough to remember standing back on
64 makes
the
sense.
far side of the lake that they're aiming at right now. And I saw those car doors open. I remember that vaguely. I also had a good friend that I went to high school with, or elementary and high school, that grew up in these hills. I think her house is like right there. So anyway, this is Lunenburg, Massachusetts, and they did not continue ice racing. The ice doesn't get thick enough anymore. But that's fun stuff right there. All right, we're going to jump to this and check it out. There's a skunk car. There's a sort of a skunk car. I think I would love to know which one was Dad's.
Dad ended up saying that none of them were him,
Know how to
but
have fun.
he said he won, so I don't know.
And this just proves you're willing to do anything to go fast. So race it fast. He did drag racing, he did ice racing, and then he got into this oval track racing. I seen another car right there that looked like Dad's too. But I asked him how he did, and he said he won. So I'll have to show Dad this footage. I sent it to him, but you know, he's got so much he watches, he might not have got to see it. We'll check it out. Let me back up. And there is this car here. We're going to the racetrack right now where this car raced. This is, I am guessing, 1962. I was about a year old. I do remember going here. I remember the time of day. I remember the smell. It was really weird. When I was watching. This, I could be there. And I was very, very young, but I have this memory that's kind of photographic of my really young days, and it's kind of a funky superpower. Anyway,
I saw a recent video, and the fence I talk about is still there. Barely.
I know I was there on a blanket. This was where I spoke I was there. And I know they won there because they got the trophy. Right here. And let's see. We're going to go back to the playlist. We're going to jump down a little bit to Westboro Speedway.
The structure motorized pergola system is reinventing the way homeowners
I'm watching
experience
off on my own YouTube, and it's still doing ads, but I don't.
Isn't that a beautiful track?
I'm not monitored on YouTube, but you can follow me.
Aerosmith laid in there.
If I ever got 1,000 follows, haha. That's a joke. Only old people like this old race and stuff sometimes.
Cut downs. That's the beginning of modifieds, guys.
A little refresher course.
Fred Estelle, big racing family in Massachusetts.
The Westboro and Seekonk Speedway.
I was about a year old. I don't think they let me go to that track too much.
That looks like Westboro.
It was a rowdy track.
Oh, it's definitely
this
Westboro.
is Pete Salvatore, and this is the car that Ronnie drove when he was 14. When Pete Salvatore couldn't make it to the track, Ronnie said, "I'll drive." That day, this man here, Ronnie's dad, didn't happen to be at the speedway. He was running he had a saloon or a lounge down in the center of Fitchburg, and he was at work. And Red and White Movers was his other business besides the bar. And Red and White Movers was, a furniture moving company or whatever. And this is Ronnie's dad, and Red and White Movers sponsored this car, Pete Salvatore, and then Ronnie's and Kenny's cars, and then even Robbie, which is Ronnie's son, when he drove later on in the 80s. But Red and White Movers and this man, Bob, was Ronnie's dad, Bob Bouchard. So that is the start of how our jalopy racing became into the Bouchard family, and my dad ended up becoming a car builder, and Ronnie ended up being a winning race car driver. There's a little more on Westboro.
That's where we're going for the reunion in October.
There were a
for
more
this
square-shaped
track
nose.
memory. Like, we're going to go to the strip mall that sits where this track used to be. That man driving that car right now is my son's great uncle.
To that.
I didn't see that
this
written.
Man here is Mario Fats Caruso. I ended up meeting his nephew, and we got married. We had a son, and that is Christopher. So my son is the grandnephew of Mario Fats Caruso, a very well-renowned race car driver from back in the 70s and 60s and 70s. He won at Trenton, and he raced against people like Bobby Allison and Richard Petty and Tiny Lund.
He ran at Oxford Plains.
There's a whole list of names
in
that
Cup.
This man has raced
What was
against,
Cup at the
and
time?
he ended up having a bad wreck. So his career. Later on, my dad built a car that he ended up winning in, but it was after his wreck, and he quit big time racing and just stayed short track racing after a really bad injury, head injury. So anyway, he was a stand-up driver, man. He put the pedal to the metal.
My dad helped him get his last win in a
sure.
modified at Westboro.
Anyway, Reino Tulonen. Reino Tulonen is a guy my dad worked with as well. I've been to his shop, and he was subbing for Fred Borden. Fred Borden, I believe, got hurt. Now, this here is some people that raced Westboro as well, and this is Fats here. It looks like P1, P2, P3. It looks like he finished second at whatever this race was at Westboro. Crazy, crazy. Look at that dusty shoes. Westboro Speedway was the dustiest track in the pit area. It was a small pit area. A lot of cars unloaded outside the track and drove them in. This is a B class. Now, those others you saw, they were called A class. A class became modifieds. B class was a different step down, like
it's your late models
and stuff on them, but they kind of became, they had a little less engine or whatever, but they were like kind of, I guess, like a late model.
These were called wingless sprint. The wingless sprints now, they were called midgets back then. They had
I was 5.
The torpedo style and the Badger style.
67. Now at 1967, 68, 69, 70, 71, 71, we ended up heading after this year to Seekonk Speedway and won four championships at that racetrack. This is Fred Borden, and this is kind of unique. I like this because it's starting to show
Seekonk still races today.
It's showing. I mean, this here is modified.
You can see modified.
This is the beginning of the Whelen Modified Tour.
When still got a full frame under there.
They started doing these cut downs.
And they started putting snouts on them.
Let me see if there's anything else we want to see about Westboro Speedway. Bobby Sprague. I believe there's some Spragues that still race. That 41 is a famous team. I believe that's a Bobby Santos car. We're seeing, all right, check this out. These starting to look like modern day.
That 1X, I believe, is Joe Howard. That 69 is Fats.
I believe my dad reworked this car.
The Garbonitos, look at the 4X there. That's Tim Connolly owns and runs now.
All the racing people from New England were great people. Let's see what
that's the Mystic Missile there, the last picture in the photo. This is Westboro.
George Savory was a favored driver.
We're headed there on
October
October
5th. He was one of the Westboro well-known drivers. Let's check this part out here. This is the track where my dad ended up getting introduced to the Fuller family. Geoff Fuller came and visited the house when he was about 14 years old. I was about 12. I'll remember that very well.
I think I was about 14 and he was about 17. I would say more.
My dad ended up working for Geoff Fuller's team at ST Motorsports, which is
driving a bomber then.
Ted Guestchecker's team racing today for Stenhouse. It's the same team. My dad ended up being a crew chief for Geoff Fuller in his second year.
No longer Stenhouse's team. It's been bought out by Hayek.
I believe, Steve Plattberg might have been listed as the crew chief. I'm not sure. But my dad had chassis control.
I found the paperwork that has Dad signed off as the crew
really
chief
got into building Penske shops
since this recording.
In the mid-80s, 90s.
So yeah,
in the 90s, I'd say.
I've actually got the picture of the the signature of the crew chief and all that.
My best memories are getting out of work about 9 o'clock at night, missing all the heats and everything, but driving that 45-minute ride.
Walked through that gate many times.
By then, the ticket booth was closed. We weren't waiting in line. We just walk in and see the features for free and see my racing buddies. And I just like to be around people that know about race cars. And it's weird. I know I'm a girl. It's just the way it is.
Just the way it is.
Cars.
Those were mini modifieds. Now this is Seekonk we went to after all the Westboro stuff.
Vendetti's that owned it. Jack Tant Racing hats.
Anthony Vendetti. It was the owner.
Carl Bugsy. That is start there. That's the famous Old Blue 3. The Old Blue 3 started out here, and the reason I'm playing this is there's a really cool picture of that 3 right there. Check that out. Now that. And that. This picture here was Old Blue in its glory days when Bugsy was driving it, and then
I
Fred
touched
DeZero
that car in that person.
15 wood chopper special owned by Sonny Casella.
Sonny Casella's garage. I went to one time and I touched that car. I just walked up to the back and just touched it because I like touching race cars.
As a
kid.
But anyway, this is all the background on this type of car. It was Casella's, Bowler's, and Carl Bugsy Stevens. My dad had a lot of time working on these cars. He was asked by Casella to work 6 weeks, redo this coupe and redo the Vega, which I'm not sure if the Vega is in this picture or not.
Vega is in my photograph above
my dad mainly went in. This
the
was
banner
one of the cars my dad
in the middle.
on. Like I said.
The pictures around my screenshots.
It's amazing. I just look at this in awe and say, wow, Whelen Modifieds came from this. There's one more here. Let's see. It's really green at this stuff. Let's back up one more. And this is George Summers. Let me go forward on that. Okay. We ended up working a lot with the Summers family over the years as well. The same starter. George, see the number 1 now. I'm going to go into that. He drove that at, that was taken at Oxford Plains. This was the purple one that he did the purple and white hats with. Check that out. That picture. This 31 is George Summers. This is Ronnie Bouchard on the inside, I believe. If it isn't Geoff Bodine, it could be Geoff. The reason I get confused is there were 3 number 1 cars at the same time. Geoff Bodine operated and drove one. Geoff Bodine was a chassis man.
That does kind of look like
Geoff. My dad was a chassis man on Ronnie's car.
Because it's a full face helmet and Ronnie wore an open face.
With Ray Hendrick, that Harrington was a chassis man on. But George Summers in this 31 ended up jumping in this number 1 up at Oxford Plains to win his last race that he competed in, which was another one my dad was involved with. Because even though we were fierce competitors on the track, Ronnie and George and Bugsy, Fred DeZero, Richie Evans, when they went to other tracks to compete, all of the teams worked together so that, they put on a good show.
Look at the front bumpers on these things.
There's good stories about that. Ronnie's got a good story about ending up dumping George.
See, that front bumper, I think, is Geoff Bodine. Dad's
when he went by him,
was different.
And he didn't speak for 2
Dad's
weeks,
was aluminum with holes in it, kind of like what's on the hood there.
Racing. We're going to about wrap this up. We are going to go through these pictures real quick and just see. We told you a lot about the transition as a car builder my dad had and all of that. And the new style jewelry number 1s. This is the start of that. This was 1971, like I said, at Trenton. And this says Hop on top because
I think it's 1973.
Like I said, I believe he finished 3rd.
Because I've verified those dates with Dad.
My dad was Ronnie's mentor through many years, even through Ronnie Bouchard's Cup Series years. My dad was his mentor. This is the olden days. This is my great-grandmother, my great-grandfather, my father's grandparents, and my grandmother. Like I said, Finnish immigrant family. 1917 they came over.
16 or
This picture
15.
here because this garage here.
My
is the
dates
second
are all
garage
wrong on
for
that.
Carson. This is my mom. This is me in the red dress, and my sister Cindy and Justine. And this VW was Marty Hardy's brother John, who was our tool man. And the tool man brought toys. We got toys every time he came by.
Cool engine hoist in the back.
I like the old engine hoist too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
This car here,
I must think the same all the time.
The 4 championships, and
look how we knocked off the fenders to run Stafford.
Stafford was
finished third.
The garage, right here.
Must have won that race, but
this was the house we had in Whalum, which was in Lunenburg, which is in Massachusetts. My age at this time was 10 or so. I was 10 or so years old.
First grade to 7th grade, 6th grade.
So that makes
I was at that house.
This is the start of the spoilers too, and all the crazy contraptions of spoilers that ended up coming out of this. I remember when they figured out what the angle needed to be for the most downforce, they rode down the highway Route 2 with a sheet of plywood, Kenny and Ronnie holding the sheet of plywood in the back of the truck with a protractor, measuring the best angle to get the most pressure. So that's how spoilers came to be in a little bit of the New England racing. And we will jump back.
This is my father's induction into the New England Auto Racing Hall of Fame. Kenny was so nervous presenting it, but he did a great job too. And we got lots of pictures with him.
Vic Kangas and
We'll
my wife
see.
Sandy and their 3 daughters, I've known them since I've been like 9 to 10 years old. And the first thing I'd like to say is March 4th is going to be their 50th anniversary, so I'd like to congratulate them on that.
And they are still married today, and this was 2012, the ceremony. He was inducted in the 2011
When I was young,
class.
I'd get a ride to Vic's shop. I'd go over there and
I will be
sit there and watch him
listening to
build cars and
this.
fix cars.
Let you listen. I'm going to
I
make
learned so
some
much
hot
from,
water and some
watching
tea.
him do it. He was a man. He was a hands-on type guy. He built everything himself. Had his own machine shop. There wasn't nothing that he couldn't fix. He knew a lot of things and made it hard for a lot of people in racing because when he showed up with a car, you knew it was going to be fast. He owned some cars in his career and early in his years. He owned a orange little coupe Zero that the late Tinker Projan drove to a track championship in 1965 at Hudson Speedway. They were a tough duo anywhere they went. They were definitely there to win. Vic also helped in his early days in his career to build Ernie Gahan's 1966 NASCAR championship car. Good friends with Ernie and them, and he did a lot for them. Vic's God, this is tough to follow, Jackie. and Bones Bushy had told me I only got 3 minutes to say all his stuff. It would take 2 days to do all the stuff that he has done and won. He also did a lot for my brother in his early career when they built that Camaro that went to Seekonk and won 4 track championships in a row. I believe that was 66 to 69. That was definitely a fast race car, and I'm sure Georgie Summers could vouch for that. Vic also helped Ronnie when he started moving up to run some NASCAR races for the late Dick Armstrong. Vic went with him to quite a few big shows, and they had a lot of good finishes with Dick Armstrong's car. He also, in 1975, crew chief my car to the Yankee All-Star League Championship, which is actually one of my favorite ones, Vic. I'd like to thank you. We had a good time. Beating the likes of Richie Evans and them guys is always hard to do, and we did a good job. Vic also then moved towards the south when Ronnie went down here to run for Jack Beebe and helped out Jack Beebe's team and I believe it was 90-something, and helped them get their team going for a lot of good Winston Cup finishes. He also went on to help Billy Dingman start his Winston Cup team with Greg Sachs behind the steering wheel. With a lot of good shows. Also at Billy Dingman's, he also ran his road race team, which won the 12 Hours of Sebring and the Rolex 24 at Daytona, which is a big accomplishment. Vic also helped some younger drivers get going and start their career, like the late Rob Moroso, Kenny Wallace, Geoff Fuller, when they all went down south to try to run a Bush South car. Vic was there, helped them all along. And working with Vic, you know, you always learned a lot, because he just didn't set the car up. He always, if you had any questions, he always told you what he did, what made the difference, how it worked, which made everybody that he worked here with a much better driver, such as like Pete Van Darker. He's helped him with his career driving and building cars. He's helped Georgie. I know he's probably helped just about everybody in here one time or another. That was one thing about Vic Kangas. If you needed to know something, he was usually only just a phone call away, and no matter what he was doing or who he was working with, he'd always try to help you. He was a great guy, and at this time, I'd like to just say I just would like to congratulate Vic into the NEAR Hall of Fame, and tell him thanks for everything he's done for me, and he's definitely a friend in his family for my whole lifetime in racing. I looked up to him, and I'm just glad to know him, and thank him for all the stuff that I heard from him. Thank you, Vic.
I guess I got a lot of people to thank. Nobody does anything like this on their own, and certainly I didn't either. I mean, I've got a family reunion going on here tonight, which is pretty good. And also I want to thank the NEAR Hall of Fame for inducting me. This is a pretty big honor. I've worked with a lot of the people in this room, including Kenny and Ronnie, George Summers, Pete Van Darker. And if I don't say your name, that doesn't mean I don't appreciate you coming. But I don't know what else to say. I was supposed to have some funny stuff to say, but the funniest thing I can say is thank you.
That was his Hall of Fame induction. What else we got going on? Okay, stop that. Let me pause that, because I'm probably not going to do this playlist. Let's see. Why is it not letting me scroll? It's being stupid. Okay. Okay, the rest is going into other people's stories, Stefanik and people like that through the years. So, okay, that's about where that's gonna inside the vault. Oh, that's Sid's view. No wonder. My playlist must be done. Okie dokie, I'll shut that down. And I'm going to bring you here. Let's just watch Sonoma. Sorry, I tried to mute that sneeze. Oh my goodness. We're so low tech redneck. Let me play Sonoma. I don't know much about this race, but it's supposed to be pretty good. It's got a pretty high resolution. If my computer can handle it, I will do it. Here we go. Oh, I'm gonna get copyright to the hilt on that.
This is the Allstate Countdown to Green as we get set to go
racing. Might not have commercials.
Race fans here are connoisseurs of the sport. Today, they have come to Sonoma, California to sample something that's a little different. The first of the 2 road course races on the Nextel Cup schedule. The stars of the sport know this has been a season with plenty of strange turns. But
this
today,
race is a request from one of my viewers. Thank you, JD, and hope You get to watch it in VOD if you didn't watch it already or if you're not live. But anyway, anytime you want to see a certain race, request it and I'll play it. I'll jump out of whatever my riding schedule is and play whatever you want to see.
The road course at Sonoma, a California freeway few get to travel. A winding ride through wine country. And you can bet there will be plenty of stories about sour grapes. But for some of the biggest stars of the sport, little whining about
Dad
racing
raced
here,
Sonoma.
because
He
at
has
Sonoma
nice
means
stories
you
about
made
him
all
and
the
Mom
right
going out
turns.
to different
In recent weeks, we've
places
christened two
and
new
such.
champions
They
and even
enjoyed the
uncorked
trip
some
to
vintage
Sonoma.
cars. But even in the wine country of California, many fans are still focused on the Brewmeister, naturally. Today, the stars of NASCAR go road course racing in California, where the checkered flag awaits NASCAR's next big winner. Sports presents the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. Today, it's the Toyota Save Mart 350 from Amphitheon Raceway in Sonoma, California. Interesting weekend for two of the top stars in the sport. Five-time Sonoma winner Jeff Gordon and his teammate reigning series champion Jimmy Johnson. Benched by NASCAR on Friday. No practice, no qualifying because their car has failed inspection. Today, Gordon starts 41st and Johnson 42nd at a track where no Nextel Cup race winner has ever started outside the top 13. That's a lot of work to do. Hi, everybody. The TNT Race family chilling in the California wine country and ready to go racing with you this afternoon. This is the All-State Countdown to Green. I'm Bill Weber. This is a race where teams are using the new car, the car of tomorrow. NASCAR has made it quite clear. Be careful. Be very careful how you massage these cars. Larry McReynolds is at our Ford test car for a quick lesson on how a little massage can leave you with a big headache, Larry.
Well, Bill, one of the challenges at a road course, especially with the car tomorrow, is getting the car to turn through these corners. Now, one way you do that is you put more front downforce in the car. You make it where you have more pressure that pins its nose. With the old car, we had to fit body templates that went across the car. But in the middle of those templates, like in an area right here, we could pretty much do what we want to. The bigger you make this area, the more downforce it puts. Now, with the car tomorrow, you still have these templates, but you cannot work in the area between the templates. NASCAR's goes with the car tomorrow is every fender on every car for every race other than left and right will be the same. The 24 and the 48 worked in that area to put more downforce. NASCAR did not like the way it looked. They did fit the templates, but they did not like the way that looked. The ramifications started on Friday, missing practice and missing qualifying, starting pretty much at the rear of this field.
All right, Larry, and you're doing the same job the drivers have to do today. Be tough and play through a little bit of pain. NASCAR has made it very clear when throwing the penalty flag this season, it's going to hurt. It started at Daytona, but the comparison here is the $100,000 fine and 6-week suspension handed down to Earnhardt crew chief Tony Uri Jr., plus the loss of 100 owner and driver points for the illegal wing brackets at Darlington. Now, for Jeff Gordon, this has been a very big week. His wife Ingrid gave birth to their daughter, Ella Sophia, on Wednesday. Today, it's back to work, but for Jeff, he's working out of an office he doesn't visit very often. Only 3 times in 488 races before today has he started 40th or worse. Today, he's 41st. Marty Snyder's with him.
Well, Friday was a tough day for Hendrick Motorsports. Jeff Gordon, first of all, your reaction to the penalties, and secondly,
so between 2000 and 2007, he's gotten married, divorced, and had children.
We needed as much lap times as we could get. You know, with this new car, it's a very challenging, difficult car, and you know, obviously we're starting way behind here, and we're just going to do our best to DuPont Chevrolet team and try to put Friday behind us. I thought we had a good car yesterday, and they just move forward. You know, that's all we can really do right now.
What challenges are presented by starting 41st, and can you win from back there?
I don't know. I've never been back this far here, but you know, I think we're going to just have to be real patient at the beginning, take it easy, and try to stay out of trouble. You know, we're going to have to play some unique pit. Watch how the cautions fall, and hopefully we got a good race car where we can make some passes too. You know, it's going to be tough to pass here today, and it's going to be extremely tough to come from the back, but, you know, I think we can do it.
Put a shirt on. I was freezing.
Happening on Wednesday, though.
Got hot tea in my hands.
It's been a phenomenal week for me. Yeah, I got to say hi to Ingrid and Ella at home, and can't wait to get home, but got a little race here to do first.
Congrats to he and Ingrid. Now over to his teammate, Jimmy Johnson. This was Ralph Shaheen.
Well, we've caught up with Jimmy Johnson, and Jimmy, the first question is, how has the situation of this weekend affected the Hendrick organization as a team?
Well, it's had a big effect on our team on the 24-48, and I think also through the garage area. We all have a much clearer understanding how serious NASCAR is with these cars and the bodies. Doesn't matter if the template's fit or not. There's areas that they don't want you to touch. Now that message is crystal clear to us.
How concerned are you about losing Chad Knaus for multiple weeks?
I certainly am concerned, and I know the position NASCAR's in. You know, this wasn't a manufactured piece that was on the car, so I hope that's brought into consideration. And the car did fit all the templates. So this infraction in the past normally meant a push around, you don't get your sticker, push around, resubmit your car. So we're hopeful on our side that all that's considered, but we'll just have to see what happens. NASCAR has to do their job and police the sport, so we'll just deal with the consequences, whatever they may be.
Finally, today you're going to start 42nd. How tough is your day going to be?
We've got a big day ahead of us. If we can catch this thing right with some strategy, we'll be in great shape, but if it doesn't, I've got the best race car I've had on a road course, so I'm very, very excited.
All right, Ralph, thanks a lot. Jimmy, thank you very much. With Wally Dallenbach getting ready to call today's race, if they had an idea before how crystal clear NASCAR is going to be, wait till Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, I talked to Jimmy Johnson when I was up on the way to driver intros, and he's pretty worried. I mean, he's like, yeah, we didn't, you know, he talked about it and he went, but we get the message now. We understand. So, yeah, they don't want to lose Akushi, especially if it's for 7 or 8 or 6 weeks. So yeah, they're pretty worried.
And we both talked to NASCAR
Try to help
President
the quality
Mike
a little.
this morning,
Keeps
and
going
the
back
key word that you brought up is they want to be consistent with the penalties they hand out.
Right. They handed out a penalty to Dale Earnhardt Jr. after Darlington, so I think it's going to be very close to that penalty.
They have a lot of work to do starting back there, Wally, but how much fun is that going to be for those guys racing a road course in that kind of position?
I think it's going to be fun. I think, you know, obviously Jeff Gordon gets around this place so good, so he's going to pick his way through. They just have to be patient. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I think we're going to see a different race with these cars. I think it's going to be a really fun race to watch, and it's going to be a fun race for the drivers. But they just have to be careful. I think pit strategy is also going to come into play here.
Yeah, and they obviously had to pick very late, so that'll play into that as well. All right, I'll see you upstairs for the race, okay?
Okay, all right.
All right, well, he'll be with me in the booth today. Now, our third partner, Kyle Petty, will be in the race as you've been following our coverage throughout the day. Kyle, what are you doing now?
The hardest part of the day, driver introduction, just riding around this place, and they took us around it backwards. How would you like to start this race, and your last time around it was exactly the opposite way you want to go?
The last thing we want to do is confuse you even more. But the place is packed.
I tell you what, there are more fans out here for this race than I've ever seen at Infineon. It is amazing. When you go around and go up the back stretch where the S's are, I guess technically, way up on top of the hill, the hospitality suites, all the areas are totally packed. Probably more so than, like I said, than I've ever seen them out here in all the years I've come out here.
Where you're starting, Kyle, are you concerned about traffic at the start of this race?
Concerned about traffic at the top of the hill. I think a lot of people don't realize about this race. If you've ever followed other forms of motorsports, especially motocross, this is like a motocross start. They drop the green flag as we come by the start-finish line, but we run up to the top of the hill, slam on brakes, downshift a second, and everybody tries to get in about a 15 or 20-foot piece wide piece of asphalt. And it's a tough place to be when you're that deep in the field. So it's going to be tough if you're anywhere from about third or fourth back. It's going to be tough getting up there.
All right, we'll talk to you again in a few minutes, okay?
Thank you, man.
All right, now let's take a look at the guys getting it done in the Nextel Cup point standings. The fallout for Michigan is that 10 of the 12 drivers changed positions. By the way, Geoff was 11th at this point last year. Denny Hamlin is second in points, second in average, finished third in top 5s, and fourth in top 10s. Kenseth slipped to fourth with his first DNF since Phoenix in April of 2005. That was 45 races ago. Martin Truex Jr. up to 10th, and Earnhardt Jr. into the top 12. And the rest of the guys trying to race their way into victory lane and into the chase for the Nextel Cup. Mark Martin not entered in this race. Greg Biffle slipped to 20th off the disappointing finish at Michigan. That's the first lap. Still ahead on the All-State Countdown to Green. You'll hear from
still
Juan
driving,
Pablo
aren't they
Montoya
now?
on making the difficult turn to NASCAR. And we'll talk to two-time Sonoma winner Tony Stewart. All having fun on the All-State Countdown to Green. Countdown to Green from Infineon Raceway, brought to you by Allstate, official insurance sponsor of NASCAR, and by DirecTV. Ride shotgun on race day with NASCAR Hot Pass only on DirecTV.
Of all the people to take you out, your teammates, I mean, that was just no good, low, nasty, dirty driving.
Well, Mr. Dallenbach, you've had more than your share of success on road courses. What's the rule for getting around the leader at the end of the race?
Well, I don't know whether it's a road course or an oval. I don't think it takes a whole lot of talent to turn a guy right at the end of the race to win a race. So, I mean, Montoya is obviously a good enough race car driver that I think he could have got by Pruitt cleanly, and it would have been a great race. But I've never been a big fan of turning somebody. You could do that, Weber.
Really?
Even you could do that.
Try it on the way back to the hotel tonight. As a kid, Juan Pablo Montoya loved to race go-karts, but he admits growing up in Colombia, the chance of chasing that childhood dream of becoming a professional racer was pretty slim because the only Colombian to reach big-time racing was Roberto Guerrero. As Matt Yoakum reports, Juan Pablo has a passion to succeed, and now this kid from Colombia is chasing big-time success in the Nextel Cup Series.
When I was a kid, we used to go nearly every weekend
Refill.
to the go-kart track and practice and race, and that was it. Never liked soccer, and I was just useless at it.
Very few racers in the world have done what Juan Pablo Montoya has. At the age of 24, the South American rookie became kart's youngest champion. The next year, he won the Indianapolis 500 in his first attempt. 7 Formula One victories followed.
There's nothing like driving a Formula One car. The way it handles, it brakes, accelerates, electronics, all the things. There's nothing like it.
So many driver aids.
Yeah, not only driver aids, but the amount of grip there is and the technology in the tires.
Drinking matcha green tea.
I don't know. I got to a point, to be honest, I wasn't enjoying racing. You know, it was so much follow the leader that the amount of
Tried to wake up. Got a busy day.
It's over the top, to be honest.
In what areas?
All of them.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.
With the frustration mounting, Montoya turned
Try to
his
wake up
former
my brains.
Series car owner Chip Ganassi.
You just called him up out of the blue. I mean, were you hunting for a job at that point with him, or?
No, I hadn't even made up my mind what I wanted to do. He asked me, "What are you doing?" I said, "Hey, I've been looking for a drive," because I was looking on my drive. I said, "Really, I'm looking for a driver." I said, "Are you interested?" I said, "Yeah, why not? Where?" And he said, "My NASCAR." I'm thinking, whew. And I think working with Chip, it's a guy that gave me like my
Morning,
first
Pops.
serious and
How are
proper
you?
job and my first big championship.
Oh, I got so much
There was
news.
No doubt in my
So
mind
much
he was
has
the person
happened.
to work with.
Like in my life.
Montoya
Like,
to make a name for himself
oh.
in NASCAR. After controversial contact
I have a
with
busy
teammate
day. I
Scott
have to go to the
Pruitt,
bank. I have
Montoya won the
to
Busch race in
sign a
Mexico
loan
City.
You've heard
so I
many
can move
times,
my
especially this year with some different guys. You know, I raced so-and-so the
up
way they
to
raced
my
me.
RV up
Did
to
you receive
North
any
Carolina.
of that after the way Mexico
Real soon.
transpired?
It's like, whoa, it all is coming together.
It's
It's like,
not like I only
I guess
passed my
when
team there. I passed 20 cars and 19
things
cars. And I
are
had
supposed
no
to
problems with
be, they
anybody.
kind of come together easily, and it's coming together way too easily. But I got to go up to St. Augustine this morning and sign a loan and get
As far as like the driver etiquette between the
cashola
drivers in
to
Formula
move
One
this
versus the drivers in
RV
NASCAR,
to North Carolina.
similar, or is there a
So
big
that
difference
was
there?
You know,
not
that one you gotta be
exactly
really
the
aggressive because
best choice, but
the way those cars race is you pretty much have when you get a chance to pass somebody. Sometimes
I'm
you get
looking
only
forward
one
to it.
chance.
So now the
You
next
can
step
either
is
choose
to
leave it or
call
take it.
the company that's towing it and
Sometimes it
find
works,
out when they're
sometimes
free.
it doesn't, But if people know you're gonna do it, they'll learn to get out of the way.
Montoya's fun-loving nature and affable smile have made him popular with fans and competitors alike. He says he just feels lucky to be here.
Coming to NASCAR, I put myself in a really awkward position, you know. All my life I've done open wheel, I've been really good at it. I've won a lot of races, I've won championships. I have probably more driving passion than anybody else in this garage. You know, there's a lot of passion drivers here, but you could not believe how passionate I'm about my job.
All season long, popular opinion has been wait till Montoya gets to a road course. You're starting, though, all the way back in 32nd. Are you going to be more aggressive today or use strategy to get yourself to the front?
Well, I think, from back here, we need both. I think we got a decent car on Friday. We just struggled in qualifying trim for some reason. It was really strange. But, in general, I think the whole technical Havilland Dutch team has done a really good job. We were quick yesterday, and we have one of the better cars out here today. So we just got to be patient and use it well.
And if he can win from all the way back in 32nd, it'll set a record here in Infineon as the deepest start of any winner. Bill?
All right, Matt, thanks a lot. A lot of people will be watching him today, and not just the other 42
Looks
guys
like
on
that
the track.
funky screen there was
this isn't a bush
their
race, it's not
internet
Mexico
upload.
City. So these guys
Because
take
it cleared up the
seriously.
minute they switched
I'd be real
screens.
surprised if he starts trying to turn guys here because they won't put up with it. Not in this division, they won't.
But as you brought up, he does have talent. This might be his best avenue to showcase it so far.
Yeah, he's got the ability. He's got a good race car. And if he uses his head, I think he'll be a top 3 race car driver. But that's the key. He's going to have to use his head.
Okay, Wally, thanks a lot. Be fun to watch. Now, in 2 weeks, our TNT Summer Series stops in Daytona, and we will debut our TNT Wide Open coverage. Race coverage with limited commercial interruption. Wide Open coverage will bring you more racing action in a widescreen format. Don't miss it from the Pepsi 400 in Daytona, July 7th, only on TNT. And it'll be a lot of fun for us, and you see all our participating sponsors, and we thank them for joining on to what we think is going to be a big night at Daytona. This is the only track on the Nextel Cup circuit that Matt Kenseth has never posted a top 10 finish. He starts 27th, right next to veteran Ricky Rudd, who won here in 2002. He rolls off 28th. Got a computer nearby? Watch our bonus race coverage from the pits, behind the scenes, and more on NASCAR.com now. This is a stern test, but one thing that has been the most challenging aspect of this place, getting past Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart. Together, they have accounted for the last 3 victories here and 7 of the last 9 wins at Sonoma. Toss in the races from Watkins Glen, and that talented driver known as Stuart Gordon has won
Okay, finally the
13
national
of the last
anthem.
19 road course events.
That our flag was still there.
Wheel lock up here on brakes. I think we're going to see a lot of that today. The way these cars are, the car tomorrow, these cars, you're going to see a lot of front tires lifting up. These cars roll a lot. That's going to cause some
this
problems
is where
on
the
braking,
COT
and
came
it's
in,
going to be
eh?
interesting to see what happens. But I think Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson both have good cars. If they play it
I
smart,
see the Coda
strategy-wise,
sign in the
they'll be up
background
towards the
behind
front
it.
before this
Oh,
race
that's
is over.
Toyota.
It's the first race for
I
the
thought
new
it might have
car, the
said
car of
car
tomorrow on a road course, and it comes here in
COT.
Sonoma, a track renowned for tough turns and not a lot of grip. Johnson and Gordon have to come from the back, a lot of excitement up front,
is
and
gardening.
Kyle in the middle of it all.
Raising
Hope you enjoy your
grandbabies.
afternoon. Right now, let's go trackside and get the command for today's race.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the words we've been waiting for. Please welcome back our Grand Marshal, Jerry Rice, and Mike Wells from the Northern California Toyota dealers.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Jerry Rice has been here all weekend and has signed autographs for everybody. If you're trying to raise money through a charity event, you should come to Sonoma and see the Grand Marshal dinner for this race. Rice was fantastic. He even danced. We go racing next. The Toyota Save Mart 350 from Infineon Raceway in Sonoma is brought to you by Toyota Moving Forward.
I'm watching Sonoma because one of my viewers had requested that I do this race. I wasn't here, nor do I have anyone working in my family in here or anything, but it's all still a lot of the people that we still had raced with in the 90s. So. And I've never seen this race. And I like road courses, so it ought to be exciting.
Your saving grace.
I'm going to have a short stream today, too, because of my appointment today. About an hour north of here, I have to go to an appointment.
Yeah, man.
New TNT drama-saving Grace premieres in July. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, boss. Appreciate it.
All right, now, I haven't been around this place in a long time. Really. I have never driven a car tomorrow. So I am going to be pretty busy. So I'll tell you what, you just take us through this lap. I prefer if you kind of talk us through it instead of just scream. So.
This is about too funny.
First weekend at a cup race?
Yeah, man, first time.
Well, I understand you were a roommate in high school with Chipper Jones. Is that correct?
That's right.
Well, at least one of you guys made it to the big time.
That's a good one.
And you were also on several episodes of Ugly Betty, and I can see that. That part probably fits.
Uh-huh. You're 2 for 2, big guy.
All right, I understand also you're a huge golfer.
Yes, I love to hit the links, for sure.
Now, I hate golf, so we got nothing to talk about there.
I hear you used to be able to drive a car pretty good. What happened?
Now you heard wrong, pal. Never happened.
That came all the way up here.
Blew the car up.
Blew the car up on the first lap. No wonder you got into commentating.
You blew it up on the first lap?
I didn't blow it up. I just overheated it. Blew all the water out, but I didn't blow it up.
That water's important stuff, isn't it? Okay. Let's take a look at the starting grid, starting with the Budweiser Pole Award. Goes to Jamie McMurray's third career pole. Started second here last year. Wiley showed you what happened then. Hopefully that won't happen to Jamie today. His first pole of 2007 and the 8th different driver to win a pole this season. Jamie in the 26th,
good lineup,
Gordon in the 7. That's the front
Look
row
at
for
Gordon.
today's Toyota Save Mart 350.
The other Gordon, Robbie.
Morissette. That should be a pretty cool road to watch.
Tony Stewart in row 3 along with Jeff Burton.
Bill Elliott, the 21 car this week, alongside Casey Kane.
Take it back to row 5. You'll find Ryan Newman and Clint Boyer.
Next row, Ron Fellows, another guy that gets around this racetrack very well, and Elliott Sadler in the 19 car.
Row 7, there's Bobby Labonte.
That's cool. That's cool. I got tea right now. Kind of making me green. I need to be careful with.
Carl Edwards on the inside, on the outside.
I need to drink water. The tannins in tea have a weird reaction with me. Sometimes all of a sudden my head will start spinning and mouth get all watery and I gotta run. It's the only thing I know that'll induce that reaction to me for some reason is green tea or loose leaf tea. That's why I'm drinking matcha, because it's mellower. It's like baby leaves, but getting a little green.
Do all we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, man. You guys be safe on this pit road, because they come around that blind corner at you right there, too. You know what I mean? So just be careful right there.
He's talking to his crew job. Give him another shot.
Hey, Kyle. Wally up here in the booth. Hear me?
Butch Leitzinger. My dad was his crew chief for one race at, could have been Sonoma.
We'll work on that for you, Wally.
Could have been, but not for this race. This was back in IMSA, in the Nissan race, in the Nissan car.
For today's race.
Cunningham Motorsports, Cunningham Racing.
And it's going to unfold in an interesting fashion with that front row. And then you've got Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson starting at the back of the field. Gordon in 41st and Johnson in 42nd. You see the drivers that did not qualify for the race, including Scott Riggs. Driver for Ray Evernham. Long way to come not to make the race. They have to make the trip home. Number of big stories today. Let's get the final thoughts from pit road, and Matt Yoakum leads off.
Bill, you heard KP tell his team that pit road is a little unique and to be careful, and it is. It's really broken up into two sections. Now, Ron Fellows, he had a great qualifying effort. He's on the front half. He'll pit in stall number 4. Now, he has a lot of unfinished business in NASCAR. Twice he's come close to finishing second. That was on the road course at the Glen. Today, though, his goal, just be patient and take what it gives him. Now, he did practice yesterday his entry on the pit road several times to try to get down his timing, because he feels like the great equalizer. Yes, he's a great road racer, but the great equalizer is being in NASCAR only twice a year. This team thinks this could be the best shot they've ever had at winning a race. To Marty Snyder.
This is an important race for Matt Kenseth. Last week at Michigan, he finished 42nd. That broke a 44-race streak of finishing a race. He had a DNF last week in that race. And he comes to a racetrack where it's really not his best place to have to recover. His best finish at Infineon is 11th. Robbie Reiser told me moments ago, if we finish 11th today, I will be thrilled. But if we do it, it will be because of pit strategy. The car not very fast for Matt, but they think they can make this race on
when
two
I
stops.
first started this
Critical.
stream,
The teams that can make it on two stops have the best chance of winning today. Ralph?
It's been a crazy weekend for Denny Hamlin. First, Mr. Sandman got the best of him Saturday morning when he overslept, missing some of the morning practice after getting back to the Bay Area late from the Busch Series event in Milwaukee. He even missed some of the afternoon session because he had to go back to the Busch Series race. But when he got there in his helicopter, no place to land. Him and Eric Almirola actually had to start the car. Denny eventually got in the car and won the Busch Series race. So upon returning back here to the Sonoma area about 3 a.m. this morning, it looks like, Lindsay, that maybe the roller coaster ride of a weekend is finally starting to gain momentum for Denny Hamlin.
Ralph, Jeff Gordon has also had a roller coaster ride, but he says not even a rough start to the weekend would end the excitement that he feels over the birth of his daughter. Here's the deal, though. Jeff is going to have to come from 41st all the way up to the front of the pack. His car's good enough. It was third fastest in practice yesterday, but no one has won this race at Sonoma from starting worse than 13th. To Larry Mack.
Lindsay, you heard Marty talk about it. You pretty much heard a lot of the drivers' interviews talking about it. I think this race may not be won by the fastest car, but who can possibly make this race on two stops? We come here with 3 less gallons of fuel in the fuel cell than we had a year ago, so trust me, strategy is already started, and old Larry Mack will be working the old calculator for the drop of the green.
That's easy for you to say, buddy. You doing okay, Larry?
In there. I'm going to be okay. I'm digging deep right now.
All right. Way to be a team player. All right, Mr. Good Luck. Try and get a hold of KP.
What's that mean, Mr. Good Luck? Hey, Kyle, this is Wally. We'll try it again.
Yeah, can you hear me? We're up here on the hill.
Yep, we can hear you. All right, so what's your plan here?
My plan is to make it through turn 1 and turn 2 right now, and then just kind of get in line, man. Like I said, this is like a motocross start when you start up this hill. These cars are a little bit wider than what I remember last year's cars. These things look wide from the back, but just stay out of trouble all day, man, and put on a show.
Hey, what's your, after practice and everything, where's your car the best to try to make some passes here today?
You broke up. I'm up here on top of the hill.
I'll be right back for the green flag.
Where you get from down there where you guys are in that nice air-conditioned booth, which that's not where I'm at today. And I miss you guys down there.
With my kid.
But everybody's a passenger today, man. Hopefully we'll take along everybody today.
All right. Field's already been given the one to go here. We'll be checking in with Kyle throughout the afternoon here in Sonoma. 110 laps. And that pit window, it all depends on who you ask, because some guys told us this morning that maybe they can get to 40 laps. Now, sometimes they tell you things that aren't exactly 100% true, but we'll see. We will see guys pit early here. I think that's probably going to happen. And then it's, you got to try and run the race backwards and make sure you're in the proper position for those last 35 or 30 laps based on fuel.
Yep, a lot of things that come into play. I mean, the cautions and everything. I mean, your car's got to be halfway decent where you don't need to come in and make adjustments. I mean, I hate to look at a race that way, and I think a lot of these guys do, especially in the back, because they've got to gain that track position, so they're looking at it. I think right now these guys up front are just thinking about going fast and winning the race.
First race for the new car, the car of tomorrow on a road course. We've seen it on the ovals, but not on a road course until this weekend. It has proven to be a challenge for even the best stock car drivers in the world. See how it plays out this afternoon under sunny skies in Sonoma. 43 cars ready to take the green flag. Jamie McMurray and Robbie Gordon will take them there. Thanks for having us in for the race on TNT. track. There go the positions. Started fifth.
Wow, there goes a lot of positions. That's the thing, you go off the track just like McMurray did last year. On the start, you're going to lose 15, 20 spots before you can get back on.
And now deep in traffic. Robbie Gordon is the leader. McMurray slipped to fourth. There's Stewart in that pack right there. Kyle behind him.
Wow, there's 3 wide back there where Kyle's at.
Junior on the move.
See Kyle there on the right of your screen. There's still 3 wide going through the corner. Somebody's going to have to give here a little bit unless you go to the dirt.
And over the curb. Harvick's back there. There's Matt Kenseth in the 17 and Kyle Busch. It's Terry Labonte in the 55 you saw a moment ago, driving for Michael Waltrip this weekend here in Sonoma. Robbie Gordon in the 7, trying to lead the first lap. McMurray trying to make up ground, moves into third. Earnhardt Jr. in that 8-car runs second.
Yeah, it's Borisset there on the outside.
It's on board with Robbie.
Oh, we were just watching this earlier. There's Kyle's back there.
Kenseth.
91 car.
The Goosens.
Oh, there's a lot of damage on the left rear of Kyle's car as well. There's that left rear fender is tore up pretty big.
Gordon continues to lead. Earnhardt Jr., who has not had a lot of success here, runs second. Go back and see if we can take a look.
Oh, wow. Kenseth just dove on the inside of Kyle, and I don't think Kyle had any idea he was there.
On board with Kyle Petty.
I mean, Kyle had no clue that Kenseth was down on the inside.
Caution is out. We apologize for that language.
I didn't hear any language. Did I?
In turn 11.
Did I miss something? They must have bleeped it. I didn't hear no language. I was so desensitized to cussing. He said a dirty word? Oh. I didn't know. I missed it. I've got so much running around in my head. Pops.
Down in turn 11.
In less than a few weeks, I'm going to be in North Carolina, and it's very, like,
This was the start of the race, and the first
big undertaking.
I don't know what happened with Stewart. If we talked about that brake issue, if he didn't have enough heat in the brakes,
I have
and the
to
tire
go
and
meet with a
slide off.
bank. Oh.
You know, there are some marbles out there, but I think Tony's got probably one of the best cars in the field, you know, based on what I saw in practice. But he's sitting back at 13th spot right now, so I don't think it's going to be too big of a concern. There's a deal where...
Yeah, they...
Listen
in, they gonna get stuff.
Turn 11, and I think Matt Kenseth saw an opening and went down there, but Kyle had no clue he was down there.
I have to meet at
this wreck.
a
Damage
bank
to the 17 as well
this
as you can see the left
this
rear
morning,
of,
late
Kyle
this
Petty.
morning.
Matt Kenseth has been on and off of pit road. Same
Arrange
for Kyle Petty.
the tow service
See if we can get in there
to
with
bring
Kyle
my
and
RV
see
to
what
North
his version
Carolina
is. Hey, Kyle, this is Wally up in the booth.
and start packing. Like packing. I have a cast iron outdoor set that I can't take with me. That's just way too heavy.
Jeff Gordon on and off of
So
pit
I gotta
road.
try to see if a neighbor wants that. Or my
Bill, Jeff
sister
Gordon
wants
came in. It was
back. I
quick,
don't know.
gas only. He said his car's pretty loose. Steve Letarte got on the radio and said, I told you
It's
this would
such
be
a,
fun. Gordon
it's
said,
something I
"Yeah,
have
right,
to do. I have to move to North Carolina where I can get my finances in order because I'm going belly up fast.
Like a good football coach,
You
he's got
know,
a couple of
I
trick
don't
plays
wanna
up his sleeve, and
go
a lot of
belly
those
up.
are going to involve how the race unfolded with pit strategy. He just brought the 48 of Jimmy Johnson in, topped him off with fuel.
I have a
And the key
huge
to this
fear of
race, gentlemen,
homelessness.
is, as we've heard all day long, track position looks like
And
that's the
it's
card he's going to
justified.
play here today.
Let's check in with Larry.
Well, what I'm seeing there is I saw 3 of the Hendrick cars pit, and I think with pitting here on lap 3,
I've built
Chad Canals
5
talked about it in the countdown to the green.
with husbands that I never got to live in.
On 2 stops. What they need
Contracted
is
the
a caution to come
first
out
one
here
when I was
shortly,
like
hoping a lot of other teams will
18,
make their pit stop then
19,
they'll get that
20.
track position.
I was 23 years old and contracted the home that my ex-husband lives in now up in Massachusetts.
By then, you're like when Caesar crossed the
It's a
Rubicon.
3,200 square foot house.
Wow.
So when we got divorced, I only got like a little bit of money.
How important this race was for the 4th place man in championship. Matt Kenseth sitting here with obvious left front fender damage and behind the tire as well. The toe is knocked so far out,
He had a realtor
Wally,
price it way down.
The wheel for Matt is halfway turned around for him to go straight. In other words, that piece of tape that says where the top of the where it should be at the top.
For me to
in
even
other words,
care
the car
about.
should be going straight. It's actually turned way to the left in order for him to go straight. So there's a lot of damage on this car, and they finished 42nd last week. Cannot afford another bad finish this weekend. Ralph?
Marty, you saw Tony Stewart go a little too hot into turn number 2, and it cost him a lot of positions as he went sliding off the track. He jumped on the radio, and this is what he said to the crew.
Take your time now. Be patient. Yeah, I forgot that evidently. Sorry, ain't no big deal. We still got a long way to go. Sorry about that, Pod.
Did I tell you, Pops, that I'm going back to my old hometown? That I lived in like for 28 years in North Carolina.
Yeah, neither one of them actually. Both of them I made a foul on.
Those 2 stickers, by the way, the top one says patience. The second one, Bill, says help promote a dust-free environment.
Gosh, the yellows here are long. Okay, they're finally off the track.
Now, when the green flag flies, the drivers don't know how to read anymore. So I don't know why those notes are up there, but he'll pick his way back up to the front.
And it'll be fun to watch. Robbie leads him back.
5 laps already down. That's 3 under caution. Probably.
And this really strings out the field on a road course. On board with Robbie, looking back at Junior down the hill to turn 4. An update on the race leader from Matt.
Bill, it was not an incident-free final practice for Robbie Gordon. He had a tie rod and failed, so he lost some time there. Some concern early on. So the car just didn't feel right. But his complaint, like so many others, it was just so free. A lot of crew chiefs pointing to the fact that there was a West race here, Grand National West race on Saturday, running a bias-ply, different type Goodyear tire. So it's a little bit different rubber on the racetrack.
And that can be a very sensitive issue for these cars. This track notoriously doesn't have a lot of grip, and then with this new car, it's even more of a factor.
Yeah, and when you run that different tire, ooh, there, Burton trying to get underneath Boris said, shut the door, and you'll see that a lot down in that corner. When you're taking a car down there, you're driving, and you look up in that mirror, if you think the guy behind you is going to pull out, you may just make a block a little bit. So you'll see a lot of mirror driving at turn 11.
Robbie leads, then it's Junior on his bumper. Jamie McMurray.
You want to hear something crazy? I have to go to the bank and sign along.
Jeff Burton in the 5th spot.
And I got to
Tony Stewart has made his way up to 12,
figure out how to get gas to get to the bank today. I know that sounds stupid, but that's the way my life's been since I've,
And this is almost this whole section
the
of the
last
racetrack
year or
you're
two
really
since
trying
they
to
raised
set
my rent
the
so
guy
high.
up. It's a rhythm part of the racetrack, but you're really trying to get as close
Now
as
they're
you
going to
can
raise it
to
again,
the car in front of you,
like more than they ever have
to
in the
set you up
past.
for one of the few braking
So I
zones
gotta
on this racetrack. Here
get
they
the
come
hell
to
out
10,
of
you want to get
Dodge.
right up on the guy's bumper. Now you're in position to try to
I'm not
outbrake a guy
renewing
going
my
down into
lease,
turn
so
11. So you want to be really close. Like Earnhardt
going
took a
back
look,
to my
but he
old
figured,
camp lot
you know
up
what,
in North
I'm not there.
Carolina.
Maybe I'll try
It's
it
not
on the
my
outside.
lot, but it's a friend of
Really tough
mine's
to make a
lot.
pass
She
on the outside
is
of
more
turn
than
11.
happy to have me come back. I was
close
always such a
ground
good
behind them.
tenant because I paid all my rent.
But Junior's doing exactly what he's got to do. He's got to
Stuff
keep
like
the pressure on Robbie. He's got to worry Robbie to death right now. Every time Robbie looks up in the mirror, he's like, man, I am not getting away from this Budweiser car. So that's when you try to start forcing the guy into a mistake. And in the meantime, Earnhardt Jr. is looking at his mirror going, you know what, McMurray's coming, so I better get by Robbie.
And we know that Boris is right behind him, so a lot of talent throughout this field. Boris said a very accomplished road racer. There's McMurray in the 26 in the 3rd spot.
And Robbie looks like he's really good through this section of the track, where the last couple laps, Earnhardt Jr. looks like he closes in from here to turn 11. If you're going to be good, you want to be good from here to turn 11, because turn 11 is the spot where you're going to make the pass.
What we saw Kenseth try to do to Kyle Petty, you're going to see a lot more of that the deeper we get into the race, because guys are going to take it in there as hard as they can to get that spot.
Because it's the one of the very few places you can make a pass here. So yes, you're exactly right. I think there's going to be a lot of contact down in that corner before this race is over.
Junior tried to set him up here last time by. See what happens on this lap.
Put a little water in my
again. That's the hard way around.
Body for this heat in Florida. Just oppressive.
And Robbie's not going to give the inside up. So trust me, he's looking in that mirror a lot. He wants to make sure that Earnhardt Jr. is not going to make a run.
Junior continues to work over Robbie, trying to get the lead.
I mean, and like I said, Junior is worrying him right now. I mean, he is just trying to force Robbie into one little mistake, that one little opening that Dale could take advantage of.
We watch the leaders and listen to Kyle explain what happened on that opening lap.
When we do take off with this RV, it'll be quite the content. I'll record a lot of it when we go up. And pray that God we have a safe trip and
for the first lap, was it not?
Traveling race beyond.
That I wanted in
just crazy.
The corner that I was not anticipating.
Nervous.
10-4, man. 10-4.
Excited.
That was Kyle under caution.
Excited because it's familiar. It's home.
A lot of traffic right down here in 11.
I wish I could be in two places at once, but this is the best way to do it.
Number 20 Chevrolet.
Reduce my
picking up spots.
Expenditures, and I'll have a lot more freedom to enjoy Florida when I visit.
See, I think that was a case where Sadler looked up in the mirror, saw Tony was coming, Tony was faster, didn't even really push the issue on trying to make it.
I got to go to the bank today, and we're figuring out how to get money just to go to the gas tank. So I've already figured that out. I think I'm going to ask Mom.
Junior chasing Jamie McMurray runs
I've got gas, but not enough.
At Infineon Raceway in Sonoma. Race strategies starting to play out early here in Sonoma. Here's our AT&T Race Talk question. Which driver do you think will perform best this weekend? None of these gentlemen running the whole series. Terry Labonte in for Michael Waltrip this week. Text the word race to 191 on your AT&T wireless phone, and we'll have the results for you later in the race. Let's see. Tony Stewart is now running in the 39th position, and that's because he pitted. Came to pit road on lap 9. Robbie Gordon continues to lead. Earnhardt Jr. second, McMurray still third. Larry, how's your voice and your calculator?
Well, I don't know about my voice, but I saw J.J. Yaley, Tony Stewart's teammate, hit pit road on lap 8. And just Tony Stewart on lap 9 hit pit road. What that tells me now is going to try to make 3 runs in about 33 to 34 laps to get to the end of this race.
Alrighty, let's see. We're on board with the Home Depot car.
Ralph, you got Tony today, right?
So Tony was in it in 2000. He's still in it 2007. So this is his 7th year. No, 2008.
From this point on, they can make it to the end of the race with just 2 more stops. That'll be a big key.
So Stewart deep in the field now, basically all by himself.
I was talking to my son there a second.
Which is not a bad thing. I mean, if you're on a strategy, you know, he's going to run some really good laps here. Got the track to himself. It's great.
I'm so happy he's handling it, because I asked him about something. He goes, "Yep, it's on my checklist." I'm like,
you know, you don't shift here as much as you used to. I think when qualifying we're talking about.
This is so much for one person. I'm usually having to do all these moves alone
on this racetrack anymore.
Pablo Montoya on the move.
Montoya's up to 20th starting position, or he started in, I believe, 32nd. Yep, so he's making some ground, and here's a guy that's going to make a lot of passes down there in turn 11.
Marty?
32nd to 20th, as you guys mentioned, for JPM so far. He is one of those guys, Wally, as you say, not using fourth gear either. He's using third gear.
Now in 08, it looks like some of the drivers we have driving in today's races are in this field as rookies, kind of.
That his qualifying lap where he qualified 32nd. He said, you know what? I simply choked.
A lot of them have retired. Newman still drives the Smart Modified Tour and the Wheeling Tour a little bit.
And so far in the race, very happy with his 42 car. He's going to go to the front. Can he get to all the leaders, though?
Mike's Marty on the move.
Kurt Busch still drives. I'm sorry, Kyle Busch still drives, not Kurt.
Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon.
Bodine still drives modifieds on occasion.
They've also been on pit road.
Harvick, well, you know, he occasionally will drive a late model now.
You can see Montoya making up a lot of ground on these guys.
Kyle Busch listed in the 5.
That's you're going to see a lot
Boyer's in the
from
booth
the drivers
now.
in the cars that really get aggressive with the brakes.
Blaney's
That's how you
kids
really make up
racing.
time driving on a road course. If you want to be really fast on a road course, you've got to drive these cars in deep.
Sterling Marlin's still driving at this
Marlin
time.
obviously has a problem.
Load up, I think, Slugger.
And I don't believe he's going to make it all the way back to the pits.
Oh man, that car almost got him. This is
he can get
so
off
scary.
the course here if he continues to go straight.
Hamlin is still driving. Leitzinger.
Jeff Gordon back on pit road.
He's got to be old now.
He was in once, right?
Lindsay, this is their
Dad
strategy
raced with
coming to
him
them,
in
isn't it?
late
Oh,
80s.
yeah, I would say you guys are exactly right. 4 tires is exactly what they'll take here, and they hope that Geoff can just continue to keep gaining ground. As I was talking to Geoff when he was walking out, he was saying the key here is just to remain patient, sit back,
Gordon
don't try and be a
runs.
superstar right away.
Hendrick.
And this strategy is exactly what they're thinking of.
Well, I believe we're going to get
Stewart does drag
yellow
racing.
thrown here because Sterling Marlin did not make it to pit lane.
Could you give me lottery numbers too when you get a chance?
So it's like a
Sterling Marlin was on an
80-20.
access road, then tried to get back to pit road, then stalled on the track. Gordon's on pit road. Wild things happening at the Save Mart 350. Under caution in Sonoma. 14 laps complete. Robbie Gordon is the race leader. And waiting to see if anybody's going to take the opportunity to come down pit road. Mark Goossens in the 91 is the lucky dog. We saw Gordon was on pit road. Then the caution came out for Sterling Marlin, who believes he lost an engine. There's the entrance to pit road on the right-hand side of your screen. Robbie not coming. So these guys now, is that Fellows? Looks like Ron Fellows might be headed for his pit stall.
I was talking with my kid again. So we are caution
Tony
again.
Stewart
Can I
runs in the
please
37th position.
Yes, we will please jump ahead.
Hey, Bill, Wally, here's what's interesting. You're seeing Ron Fellows pit. Remember, that is a Gibbs engine.
Gordon is currently scored in the
Here's
32nd
the
position.
pace car is off and we're under green
Stewart
again.
in the 35th position.
Robbie Gordon is probably going to kick everyone's ass. He was so good on the road course.
Green at Sonoma.
I bet you that's my prediction. I haven't seen this before, so.
Up the hill to turn 2, the right-hander.
Tell you what, Junior, Earnhardt Jr. running Sonoma second. Very impressive.
Back there.
See Montoya on the outside of the 5 car makes the pass. Here's Montoya, the 42, getting around Kyle Busch. Jimmy Johnson taking a look. That's a place you can outbrake somebody, but you've got to be very careful because you carry so much speed in there. Well, you carry so much speed in there, you can get chopped off really easy. And you see Montoya trying to get by Truex in the 1 car.
Smoked his tires a little bit.
Yeah, and he's doing that a lot, but he's making up some ground.
And once he feels that he's got the car and gets a little bit of confidence, he's going to drive a little harder and a little faster and challenge these guys a little bit more, because this is his kind of racing.
Exactly. Yep. Marty, what is Montoya saying anything about his car? Because it looks awfully good.
He says while it chatters the front just a little bit, especially at the top of the hill. But one thing he told me about braking this morning, he said actually when you outbrake someone, as Kyle Busch spins around, Bill.
Kyle Busch was actually trying to outbrake Montoya just when you were talking about that, Marty, and it looked to me like he had a little bit too much rear braking there because the rear tire's locked up and he's spinning around. And now he's watching all these cars go by him.
Oh, my.
Wow, he was up around 15th.
Was that?
And, you know, and Montoya driving it in pretty deep, and Kyle Busch locked
Kyle
up
Busch,
right,
yeah,
he
he locked up his flat spotted
drives
tire.
in deep. If you're going to outbrake Montoya, you're doing something. So
he thought it looked like a good idea to go to the inside.
And actually, I think Kyle, I really believe he spun that car out to avoid hitting Montoya. Now that I look at it from that replay.
So see if that changes his strategy here this afternoon. 18 laps in the book. Marty, did you finish your stuff on Montoya there?
Well, Bill, I was just going to say that this morning when Juan and I were talking about outbraking someone, and Wally, you can talk about this, he said when you're doing that, you actually start braking at the same point your guy trying to outbrake.
I'm looking around.
So what you do is you don't hit the brake as hard as that other guy does. You just get
we got to lighten it up,
slower,
you know.
and then stab it right at the end.
Put all this in my van, my Ford van.
Yes, it does. What you do
my
is
van
when
makes
you outbrake a guy like he just did,
poor
your
little
lines are pretty much the same
old
as Jimmy
lady
Johnson
van.
sneaks
Just
underneath. Very nice move. Very nice move, Mr. Johnson. But
Limp
what you
it
do is
along.
when you get on the brake, Marty, you get off the brake and let that car roll just that 10 or 15 feet. So while the guy you're trying to brake is hard on the brakes, you get off the brake, let your car roll a little bit further, then you get on the brakes again really hard. By that time, you've got the position on the guy. So that's exactly right.
There's some good racing going on back in the pack, including the move made by Jimmy Johnson, Ralph.
Jimmy Johnson's car hasn't been perfect since the beginning of this race, Bill, but they felt like it was going to continue to come to.
I'm going to go off camera for a minute.
Apparently it's getting there. It is really starting to work in the 48.
With everything that this team has been through this weekend, Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon were not allowed to practice or qualify on Friday.
Still here in the
Their
chat.
cars did not make it through inspection. Chad Canals, you can tell he's disappointed about what happened, but he just had that sound of confidence in his voice in the garage this morning that we've got good equipment and we've got a plan and this might work out.
Well, they have been beating up everybody this year, so I mean that's where the confidence comes from. But you're right, and then they had two teammates out there that they could draw off of on those couple practices, so it's not like they were completely lost. I mean, those guys came here with good race cars, and that's how you win championships, in my opinion, is you leave the shop with your stuff really good, and they do that every week.
Jamie McMurray, the new second place car behind Robbie Gordon, got around Earnhardt Jr. to take second, Junior in third.
Jeff Burton putting a lot of pressure on Boris Said there.
Yeah, there's a bit of a traffic jam behind Boris.
A lot of these cars right here are so close right now. They're so even. Here comes Jeff Gordon.
And Tony Stewart.
This is a pretty good race here. Okay, now Stewart has the best spot, and I think Gordon understood that. You're going into a left-hander, so you want to be on the left side. So Jeff Gordon said, yep. And no sense of beating each other through the corner there.
And those two guys are not going to race each other very hard at this point in the race. They're behind Ron Fellows, not a bad guy to be following on a road course. Fellows in that 96 car. But Tony may not want to be following for very long. And again, that the 96 team gets a lot of support from Joe Gibbs Racing. I believe Joe Gibbs Racing even built that car for him. So Robbie continues to lead. Jamie McMurray second. Earnhardt Jr. third. On board the 01 car. Watch out for the dust and the rocks. And there goes the camera. Robbie Gordon is the race leader and has led every lap so far with 22 in the book this afternoon at Infineon Raceway in Sonoma. Here's the AT&T Race Talk question. The results so far.
The set heads have spoken.
Yes, they have, and they are a loyal group, huh? Boris currently running fourth. You can text race to 191. Cast your vote for AT&T Race Talk question. There's Boris. Man, that wall scares me. It's Jeff Burton right behind him, and that's they've been nose to tail for a while.
Jeff Burton has been really working on Boris, and here's a great shot. Yeah, this is foot cam on Boris's car. And Boris is one of the few guys out there that right foot brakes. Most of the drivers use their left foot. You just keep your left foot over that brake pedal. This way, when you're braking and downshifting, you never take your foot off the gas, never take your foot off the brake pedal. As you can see what he's doing, he uses the gas, and then when he goes to slow the car down, he hits the brake, then he rolls his foot on the gas pedal to downshift. That's called heel and toe.
And you don't have to use the clutch in these cars.
You don't have to use the clutch in these cars. Now, Boris has got about an 18 size shoe, so he can do that a lot easier than most people. But like I said, most of us, you just left foot brake.
And you told me yesterday you left foot brake in your passenger car.
Yes. Yeah, left foot brake and everything. Going down the highway, I left foot brake. Probably, to me, it's just quicker. You can react quicker and get on the brake a lot faster. But it's just what you're brought up to. And here Jeff Burton is just working on Boris right now, and he's going to take a look. He's going to do it right here.
Been patient as long as he could. Burton gets the position. We get a report from Matt.
And a great shot of Boris Said's trade secrets there. Now, Boris's biggest issue, the car is too free on the right-handers, but Frankie Stoddard telling him, look, don't worry about the top 3 or 4. Just pace yourself and try to save as much fuel as possible.
And here's the thing, because Boris was basically holding up that pack, they started to lose touch with the top 3 cars, especially race leader Robbie Gordon.
Yeah, as you can already see, Jeff Burton is going to start driving away from Boris, and then you got Ryan Newman right behind Boris. So it'll be interesting to see if there's, you got Ryan Newman, Casey Kane, you've got Kurt Busch back there. There's a bunch of those guys. See if they can make the pass now on Boris.
So the fuel mileage factor is going to come into play here very shortly, maybe as soon as 7 laps or so. A number of teams have already been on pit road, but not the race leaders. We'll step out, come back for those stops. You're watching NASCAR live on TNT.
At work, he's a therapist with all the answers. Ow! But at home, this father doesn't always know best.
What's in your drawer, Trent?
Tell me it's not.
The decision to come in. Carl, who's only been here twice before, he finished 6th last year. He pulled his car in. These guys are definitely taking advantage of this strategy that they can use to get Carl taken care of, because most of the guys down on this end have chosen to stay out.
Thanks, Lindsay. And I bet after the green comes out, we'll see a few more guys dive on the pit road. Kyle Petty stays out.
Hey, Kyle, this is Wally in the booth. Hear me?
Yeah, man, I hear you loud and clear.
Well, not too good of a start. A little rough there. But did it damage your car? I mean, did it really affect the way the car? I know there's a lot of body damage, but everything's still straight?
Yeah, everything's straight. The front end's straight. Rear end's still up under it. And I apologize to Matt or whoever that was. I guess I just didn't know that somebody was going to come in there that quick. And I didn't see him. I was looking in the mirror for the 91, so if that's my fault, y'all got the TV, and I take the blame. I apologize. But I tell you what, man, it's been a lot of fun out here so far. These guys are giving and taking really good. You notice the guys behind us put on new tires like the 20 and the 24 and the 96, and those guys, and when they... And when they catch us, sorry, they were communicating with me on the radio. When they catch us, we get out of the way. So it's been a good day so far, man.
All right, man. We know you're busy. We'll check in later.
I got you.
I bet they were talking to him about the 24 behind him. We'll find out. Larry?
All right, Bill, Wally, I've got it figured out. What these guys are doing up front, they're pretty much treating this race just as they have done in the past, even when they had 3 more gallons of fuel. Right now, what you're going to probably see all those guys do is about lap 36 or 37, whether it's caution or green, they're going to come on the pit road, and they're making this a 2-stop race, just as we've done before, probably with the help of a little smaller carburetor.
All right. Marty?
Well, guys, just like Larry Mack said, that's what's happening down here. Most of the teams were about 2 laps short if it went green flag from making it a 2-stop race if they pitted now. So they're going to stay out for 4 or 5 laps, as Larry Mack said, because they would have had to have hoped for 4 or 5 laps of caution. Can't count on that. So they'll come in under green, as you said, Weber. Matt?
And Robbie Gordon had about a second-half lead under this caution. A lot of conversation with his crew chief, Gene Need, and it's all about fuel.
You can almost count this whole lap, all right? All I got was count 1/10 of this lap on the throttle. 1/10 of this lap I was on the throttle. That's the time I have been idling.
Trying to give Gene as much information as possible. Now, originally they were going to go to lap 5 and then pit, but they called an audible. Now, this caution extends their window even more. They can probably go to around lap 35. The 31 of Burton, they may come 2 laps earlier on 33. Bill?
Thanks, Matt. I think some of these guys are going to end up being right on the edge. And we've seen guys run out here, too, in the closing laps.
Yeah, and this isn't a place you coast back to.
No. Not as we saw from Sterling, who, by the way, we've been told is out of the race. Sterling Moreland, engine failure. Green in the air, Robbie in the lead. Jamie right on his bumper. McMurray started on the pole, up the hill.
Looks like Jeff Burton's got a really good car right now.
And they had some issues with that car in practice as well. And when they were talking to Kyle, he was looking in his... Man, it's a great kick.
You like that spot, don't you?
I don't like that wall, but I like that shot. Boris said...
Oh. Boy, Burton hates to give that up. He knows how hard it is to pass Boris.
It took him like 20 minutes or 20 laps to get around him. How about Burton, Matt?
Boy, they really hit the jackpot in final practice. They found something amiss, broken in the front suspension area, not to get too technical, but they luckily found it by chance. Otherwise, they would have had a long day today. Now, Burton's biggest issue right now, Bill, forward bite, as he's got the 12 diving on the inside. That's one area they want to work on when they make their next stop here.
2 Penske cars trying to get around him.
Hey, just hook that left rear in the gravel, just that little bit on the exit there, turn 10. Just enough for those 2 cars to make some ground and pass them.
Jeff Gordon has gotten around Kyle Petty. The 55 of Terry Labonte also got around.
Oh, Montoya underneath the 48, just barely made contact. Now we'll see if Jimmy Johnson fights the issue here. He's in position, and he does fight the issue.
Imagine that.
He did not like that. That's why I said earlier, these guys aren't going to be putting up with Montoya pushing them around. Not going to happen here today.
On board with Montoya. Tony Stewart in the middle of all that traffic in the 20 car. Ron Fellows in the 96 behind him. Bill Elliott in that 21.
Oh, that's really, really tight through their run side by side. That's Bill Elliott. Cracked the throttle enough just for Stewart to get in front of him. See Jeff Gordon right there in the picture as well, right behind Truex in that one car.
Up front, Boris said on the move. Takes third from Earnhardt. There's Montoya with Jimmy Johnson behind him now. There's Denny Hamlin in the 11 car. Ralph?
Bill, in these race cars, just like in your street car on the shifter, there's a knob for the driver to grab onto with his hand to help make shifting easy. Well, that broke off in Denny Hamlin's number 11. So he's really struggling to shift the car right now. The crew is going to put a bunch of pieces into an empty water bottle like this, including vice grips. They're going to pass that through the driver's side window. And then later on during a caution, he's going to get the parts out of the water bottle and try to rebuild that stick shift with one hand under caution while driving around a road course.
Sure he is.
Yeah.
Sure he is, Ralph.
Do we have an in-car camera on that one?
Man, oh man. It's Craig Biffle in the 16. Stewart right behind his teammate. There's our Miller Lite race back. Denny has led the most laps in the Car of Tomorrow races. Our Miller Lite race fact. You're craning your head so you can see that 42-28 thing.
Yeah, I really am. I really think something's going to happen there. Because Montoya got back in front of Jimmy Johnson, and then Jimmy Johnson got back in front of Montoya, so...
Biffle in the 16, Stewart there. This is on board with Montoya.
I think he takes a look under here. Just gets into Jimmy Johnson. Johnson's like,
come on. Still down there. Still there.
And I mean, Jimmy Johnson turned to the right to send Montoya a message.
That'll be fun to watch. Marty, you keeping an eye on this?
I am, and I'm listening to Juan Montoya's radio as well, and he hasn't had much to say about it. His only thing in his thick Colombian accent is, I'm better than him, and that was it. And he is chattering the front of that car a whole lot. They want to make adjustments to it on this first stop. He wasn't very upset about it, but like you were talking, Wally, he knows he has a certain level of aggressiveness he can take with these Cup drivers. Can't do what he did in the Busch race.
Earnhardt Jr. on pit road. Now, these are plans that are starting to come into play, plans that were formulated before the race began. Coming to you, Ralph.
Well, they were planning on pitting around lap 32, so Junior making his way down to pit lane. This is all a part of the strategy. They hung out there as long as they could. He's been very quiet on the radio. About the only problem he has really had with the car today was at one point he scraped the splitter on the front of the car. Here he coming in now, getting 4 tires of fuel. Should be a pretty basic stop. No major changes called for in the car. He's been pretty happy with it so far. Fueling just about done. The tires are completed, and away he goes at 13.8.
So Earnhardt Jr., the first of the race leaders to step onto pit road. And he heads back onto the track. And obviously you can pit here without losing a lap under green. Race leader Robbie Gordon is just now heading for turn 11. There's Robbie. With McMurray behind him. And then Boris said on the move. I knew this part was coming.
Yep. Hey, Wally, what I did notice, Dale Earnhardt Jr. almost stalled his car lead. They have such a high first gear in the car. Because of using first gear in turn 1 and turn 7, you almost can't get going leaving the pit.
That's exactly right. When they dropped the jack and he took off, he almost stalled the car because exactly what Larry was talking about.
Marty.
Betting on the same lap as his teammate, Kevin Harvick comes to pit road. They're going to put a round of wedge or a quarter round of wedge in the left rear. Also take some air pressure out of the front tires. Wants a little more rear grip. Todd Berrier said, take all the time you need. We need it full of fuel, Matt.
The lack of rear grip, Jeff Burton says, was absolutely killing him earlier in this run, but right before he pitted, he said it's actually gotten a lot better. It's just coming to him too late. Burton, one of those guys in that lead pack, waiting to the latter end of the first pit cycle to make their stop.
He's on his way with Harvick right alongside as they come off of pit road and get back up to speed. And Martin Truex Jr. in the 1. Terry Labonte in that 55. Waiting to see what race leader Robbie Gordon might do. He's gonna pit. Robbie Gordon has led all 34 laps until now. Started outside the front row next to pole sitter Jamie McMurray. It's a long, slow trip down pit road here at Sonoma. Matt, he's coming around the bend to you.
He's on his way down to that latter section here on pit road. Robbie Gordon swept both road course races back in 2003. He came on the radio about 15 laps ago and said, guys, I've got about another half second tucked away in the bag. Right now, I am just riding. He wanted a little bit of help on forward bite, but he didn't want to hurt his car in the beginning stages of the run, so he actually waved off the air pressure change that Gene Mead was going to make. A little slow on the left side of the race car. logs on finally. He is down and away for the guy who has led every lap up to this point.
And that stop a little longer than they would have liked. So he heads back out on the track. And Jamie McMurray has inherited the lead. McMurray, Boris said, Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch, Elliott Sadler. Those guys are heading toward turn 11 and could dive onto pit road this time. And here comes McMurray and Boris. And they've got company behind them.
Don't cheat it. 31 first gear, around the dog leg.
Does not want to get hit with a speeding penalty. Marty on McMurray.
And McMurray, the leader, as he hits pit road, as you mentioned, Bill, late in the fuel window, so they're very good on fuel mileage. That may help them later in the race. Jamie says it chatters the front end just a little bit, but he doesn't want to make any chassis changes. Going up through turn 1 earlier, he said he hit a pothole, and his steering wheel is knocked out just a little bit. They get it full of fuel, and Jamie kills the car for a second, then finally gets it going. Matt?
And Frankie Stoddard had his driver, Boris, said on pit road, chassis adjustment, need a little more help on the right-handers. He said he was especially hurt with his car down in turn 11, but he was running the same lap times as Robbie Gordon right before this stop, Ralph.
Well, the two of Kurt Busch has been having trouble in the high-speed corners like turn number 10, and he's been losing grip on the exit of rights. They brought him in, put 4 tires in fuel, made a chassis adjustment and some air pressure adjustments. He's back underway, Bill.
And the race leader is Jimmy Johnson. So watch Kurt Busch get back up to speed. That's Harvick behind him, and then Matt Kenseth, who just came off of pit road. Looking ahead at Earnhardt Jr. This would be for the lead. Whoa! Jimmy Johnson had it. Denny Hamlin just took it. Johnson started 42nd today. Right now, strategy is coming to him. Hamlin is the race leader, then Johnson, then Tony Stewart runs 3rd. Fellows 4th, and Jeff Gordon 5th. Well, you have to pay a lot of attention in these road course races because so many different strategies play out. An update on Gordon from Lindsay.
Bill, Jeff Gordon says he'll pit in 4 laps, but he's not really happy about the guy that he's driving behind because he was asking before who was driving the 96 car. When they told him it was Fellows, Jeff said, tell Ron Fellows that someone needs to let him know who's driving the number 24.
Wow, that's pretty strong. Yes, message delivered. It's the proud new father who's driving that 24 car. And I just saw Jeff very briefly in the garage yesterday, and just to congratulate him. And he just has
that was a very arrogant thing to
this
say.
huge smile on his face after
that was not
the birth
cool.
of their daughter earlier this week. Johnson on pit road. So Jimmy Johnson slows down, making certain he doesn't get hit with the speeding penalty, and heads for his pit stall.
Knowing Gordon, he would probably have regretted that remark, but I guess truth comes out sometimes under pressure.
I'm here.
That's a weird thing
48
to
comes
say.
sliding into his pit stall. Now remember, these guys are working a different pit strategy. It's going to be a chassis adjustment. Some damage to the left rear. They make the chassis adjustment. They go for the tires and the fuel. And Jimmy Johnson will be back underway.
I always think that arrogance will automatically wipe out every bit of humility you've ever gained.
Had been rubbed off, and I imagine that's from when he was dancing with Montoya. Yes.
Tell Ron Fellows who is in the 24 is a really.
Denny Hamlin scored as the race leader. He pitted on lap 3.
No.
So he's not far away from having to make his stop. Hamlin came from deep in the field. There's Tony behind him. Then Ron Fellows. Then Jeff Gordon. And Carl Edwards scored in the 5th position. Well, it's one of those road course races where the strategy really has to play out throughout the day to get you to victory lane. The this long series of pit stops under green continues now here in Sonoma. Tony Stewart headed for his pit stall. He's yours, Ralph.
Here he comes, Tony Stewart down pit road in the number 20. You can see they're going to make a chassis adjustment on the right rear. Everything's been pretty good with Tony Stewart. Surprisingly, even though things got off to a bad start in the opening lap and went sliding off the corner, they've been very calm, very cool, very collected. They know they've got a fast race car and plenty of time, Bill.
Thanks, Ralph. So Stewart on pit road. Denny Hamlin also pitted while we were away, so Ron Fellows in that 96 car, the car that finished third last year in this race, is now the race leader. Jeff Gordon has scored second, Carl Edwards third. We talked about the 11 car coming to pit road while we were gone. And remember, he's got that shifter issue. Whoa, might have more issues. There's the 11 of Denny Hamlin. Jimmy Johnson right behind him. Ralph Shaheen has our Subway Pit News Report presented by Subway Restaurants. Ralph?
Bill, the reason why Denny Hamlin's sliding all over the track like that might be because there's a whole bunch of pieces and parts rolling around in the cockpit of the car. Watch what they did during this last pit stop. You'll see the crew member with a long pole reach through the window. There goes the water bottle, and inside that water bottle are vice grips, some other wrenches, and the ball to the top of a stick shift that somewhere during a caution he's going to try to build himself. Lindsay?
Ralph, Jeff Gordon this weekend going for his 80th career win. They just brought him in, gave him 4 tires, gas, pulled out the fender a little bit. Jeff right now says he's riding steady.
Slow trip off of pit road. So Gordon heads back out onto the track. Fellows the race leader. Strategy, a lot of pit strategy playing out here in Sonoma on just a fantastic afternoon in front of a great crowd. There's Fellows. Was at Le Mans last week, right?
Yep, he sure was.
Caution is out. Caution for debris. This will be caution number 4. The debris is right there on the pit straight, right across from pit road. Caution at Sonoma where Ron Fellows leads. Still under caution for debris here at Sonoma. There is your race leader, Ron Fellows, in the 96 car, headed for his pit stall. Carl Edwards was right behind him, but decided at the last instant to stay out on the track. So Fellows on pit road. Four laps are complete. Carl Edwards is scored as the race leader, so Fellows into his stall. Matt?
And Brandon Thomas is going to try to fix the balance of Ron Fellows' machine by making an air pressure adjustment all the way around. Needed a little more grip on both ends of the race car last time on pit road. Right around lap 15, almost stalls it. One thing, Bill, he did come on the radio to ask about the pit road speed concerning keeping pace with the pace truck. And Wally, as someone who comes in only twice a year, that's one of those little nuances that is really a rhythm and a commonplace thing for guys that run here every week. But for Fellows, this is like something new every time he comes.
Yeah, that's an easy mistake to make when you're not doing it every single week. So he wants to make sure that if anything, he's under that pit road speed, not above it. Hey, Kyle, this is Wally in the booth. You hear me?
Yeah, man, got you loud and clear.
You making any progress?
Yeah, making good progress, man. It's been a good day. You ought to see some of the stuff out here. I'm going to tell you something. Reed Sorensen, a couple of these young guys have run some great races, man. I've been behind them today. And I got to say, a couple of these old guys have run some great races. Terry Labonte, Ricky Rudd, Bill Elliott. I'm kind of stuck where these guys are at, but that's good. I'm used to racing with them.
Has anybody made you mad? Do you feel like running off the racetrack yet?
Not really. I think most everything's been my fault so far. I can't complain about the way anybody else is driving. When you hit somebody and you're out of control, really doesn't make any difference. But I tell you what, man, I wish the fans could be here in the car and I could talk them around it, because you're seeing tires, people carrying tires and all kinds of stuff out here.
All right, I know you're getting towards that other end of the racetrack, so good luck. We're watching.
All right, man, ride with me a little bit. Help me.
Larry, help him.
Well, I don't know if I can help Kyle right now, but I think I can help the fans understand what Carl Edwards and Kyle Busch are doing right now, running first and second. I'm totally convinced here with 65 laps to go, I think to win this race, you're going to have to only make 2 pit stops, regardless of when you pit on pit road. Those cars pitted under caution at lap 28. I think they're banking on cautions, allowing them to make this on one more stop, but they will have to go about 40 to 41 laps per run, which could be a stretch without the help of cautions.
That's, and I hate to strain your voice, but that's a lot further than we originally thought when we got here, isn't it?
Absolutely, but I think what we did learn this morning, a lot of guys have these smaller carburetors.
On board with Tony, looking back at Kurt Busch. Kurt with a new crew chief this week, Pat Trison.
Such a tough place to outbrake somebody. But now, see, Kenseth is in position to take the spot, and he'll do it. But these guys are really on the brakes hard here. They got to be careful. You know, it's okay if you smoke the tire a little bit, but if you keep doing it, you're going to flat spot that tire. You flat spot that tire because you're on the brake too long, and it just skids across the racetrack, and it makes it, you know, like a flat, like a box almost, and you feel it every time that tire rotates. It's really, really rough. It feels like you're going over a set of train tracks.
And Matt Kenseth has done a good job after that opening lap contact with Kyle Petty. Lindsay, what are you working on?
Bill, Jeff Gordon right now is 18th, and his crew chief Steve Letarte got on the radio to him and said, buddy, I really appreciate the battle that you're given. But he also used some incentive for Jeff, talking about his baby.
Battle, man. Back there is a damn battle every lap, I know. Man, I'm telling you. Problem is, you don't know which way they're going because they don't know which way they're going in some of the corners. Yeah, they're blocking and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I've been waiting to use this one. This is my new one. When them boys really irritate you and you're frustrated, you can just picture that little girl and just relax and go right by them. That's a good one to use. Thank you for reminding me.
Aw, isn't that nice?
Thanks, Lindsay.
Watch this right here. Woo! Stewart is making some ground up. He's been passing a lot of cars here the last couple laps. Battling with Earnhardt here. And then you've got Montoya in the 42 wanting to follow really badly.
Yeah, Montoya's tried both sides.
Now Montoya's in position right here. If he can stay right on the 8 car, he may take a look.
Coming to turn 11. Montoya to the inside of Earnhardt. And Kurt Busch thinking about the inside of Montoya.
Okay, now, that 8 car had a little bit better bite off of there, or Montoya couldn't get as good a bite getting off that corner, so he pulled back ahead. This is good racing right here.
This is back around the 11th spot. Junior runs in 11th, Montoya 12th, then Busch, Harvick, Newman, Marty.
Yeah, Montoya up there in the mix. Hey, Wally, guess what they're telling Montoya? Be patient. How do you think that conversation's going over? I don't think he's doing too much patience out there. The car, very good. But what they are telling him, race the guys that you're racing with in terms of fuel. Some of the guys behind you and some of the guys in front of you are on different strategies than us. Worry about those guys. Don't worry about everybody else. I don't think Montoya's listening to any of it, though.
I don't think he knows what 2 mileage racing is or cares.
Really working hard to try and get past Junior. Carl Edwards, last week's winner, is this week's leader, at least for now, in the Toyota Save Mart 350. Well, we saw how the fans view. How about the driver's view, Wally? Mark and Larry hanging out down there with with a few of their friends. And a hats off to our TNT crew, both down at the rig and here in the booth and all around the track, for the great job they do this weekend and every weekend. So hats off to our people here at TNT. The inside.
Oh, he's got Montoya.
Yeah.
Now if Montoya can stay there, it'll be his corner.
Does not look like he has the grip.
Well, I was wrong. Junior hung right in there.
Oh, this could be big.
See Stewart making the pass there.
Watch out for that wall.
It's by Reed Swartzen in the 41 car.
Robbie Gordon got the lead away from Carl Edwards. You're right, didn't even take half a lap.
Didn't think it was going to take long. He's probably going to wave goodbye now.
Kyle Busch in the 5 runs third. Then Jamie McMurray. Lindsay?
Bill, I wanted to talk about Carl Edwards because something that he's doing right now is long shifting. He's doing that so that he can help save fuel, and they don't plan on having to bring him in if all stays green for about another, give or take, 12 laps.
Well, he better get more than 12 out of there. There's the 6 car. David Reagan has gone around. He's got power.
Coming for a while, getting fired up here.
Trying to get back on the track. And the caution is out. So a full course yellow for the spin. So Larry Mack changing batteries in the calculator right about now. Take a look at our AutoZone in the zone driver stat for today. I'm guessing it involves Martin Truex Jr. Yep, certainly running very well of late. Got the win, 3rd place and 2nd in his last 3 races. And you know he's looking forward to going to New Hampshire next week. Right now, though, in the 31st position on the racetrack for Martin Truex Jr. Jeff Gordon's back in the
He passed Kyle Busch up there. His best finish in Infineon Raceway is 2nd. And he told me before he started the race, we saw that little clip of him going off the racetrack. That's what he wanted to avoid today. Being aggressive early in the race, but in the second half, if his car was good, he was going to go for it. Clearly, they have a fast car. A little 3 wide back there, Bill.
It's pretty exciting back in this pack.
Knew Stewart was going to try to push the issue with Morissette, so I knew that was coming.
There's Tony in the 20, Said right behind him, then Jeff Burton. Junior in the 8.
Morissette goes down to turn 11, gets on the brake. We're going to grab a couple of gears here. This is where you kind of get off the brake and just let the car roll. And you really want to jump on the throttle here, but you can't because the rear tires just want to spin off that corner. So you just kind of lay the throttle down.
Got 2nd from Carl Edwards. And Robbie Gordon trying to run away and hide. So it's McMurray, Edwards, then Kyle Busch, Tony Stewart the top 5. Carl Edwards last pitted on lap 28. Robbie on lap 35. McMurray on lap 36. Everybody looking around lap 70 would like to go a little deeper than that before they'd have to come back in. That's Butch Leitzinger in the 23 car for Bill Davis.
Yeah, the thing, and that's all great on paper, but somebody better get up there and start putting some pressure on Robbie Gordon. It's not going to matter. Robbie Gordon's got a very fast car. He's out front. He's taking care of his equipment because he's out front. Nobody's putting any pressure on him. So somebody's got to figure out how they're going to do that, or they're racing for 2nd.
Robbie led 81 laps here when he won in 2003.
Oh, there's Kurt Busch.
Yep. Trying to get it spun around, pointed in the right direction. A lot of traffic down there.
Like I said, whatever happened, whether he got hit, mistake, whatever, he just lost about 10 spots right there.
Let's go back and see if we can find out what happened to Kurt.
May have got tagged.
I would say he definitely got tagged.
By the 42, and the 24 was right behind the 42.
Diving in. Inside barely, you're good.
And the 24 gets that position.
Well, we'll see if that 2 gets around that 42 between now and the end of the race.
He's coming. Robbie Gordon is the race leader. 2 wins in 17 road course races, both in 2003. Can he get back to victory lane today? The Toyota Save Mark 350 from the Infinity Raceway in Sonoma is brought to you by Sprint. NASCAR Nextel Cup fans get things done with Nextel by Pepsi Racing. Visit PepsiRacing.com and link to play Pepsi Fantasy Racing for free today. And by Gillette Fusion Power Phantom. Fusion Power is so advanced you barely feel the blades. Visit GilletteFusion.com to learn more. 64 laps are complete. Robbie Gordon has led 43 of them. He is the race leader now. Jamie McMurray runs second. Tony Stewart is third. Then Carl Edwards and Boris Said. Let's let these cars go past. Okay, Larry, really quick now.
Well, I don't want to underestimate anybody's ability to win this race, but I think with what we know, one more pit stop coming, I think it's Robbie Gordon's race to lose. But for Robbie, McMurray, Stewart, Edwards, Boris Said, all these guys, one more stop. Remember, you can't have a mistake. You can't speed. You got to have all those lug nuts on, and especially, Marty, you can't stall it leaving your pit box.
Exactly right, Larry Mack, and that's key because of these tall first gears. It's easy to stall the car here on pit road. One of the games right now in the second half of the strategy is how early can you make that last stop. Some of the cars down here talking lap 68, maybe even chancing it to lap 67, but that would be a big risk. Most of the pit stops should happen around lap 70 to 71, somewhere in that range for the final stop of the day.
If you come in earlier than lap 70, you're either really confident or you're going to get really lucky and get a number of caution laps.
I don't think confidence is going to get it done. Lucky might. Good race between Stewart and McMurray. Stewart's been slowly catching McMurray. I don't know how much Jamie will fight Stewart if Tony gets right to him.
He's just about there now.
I mean, there's no need. You're just logging laps right now until that pit stop on lap 70 or 71 like Marty was talking about.
Or 67 or 68.
If you feel confident.
Or lucky. Up on the curb. Riding along with Tony Stewart there for a moment. Trying to close the gap on McMurray. Report that Reed Sorensen is smoking.
He's got a lot of damage. He hit somebody or something.
Try to get it going if you can. Return left if you have to.
Talking to his spotter. Stay under green.
That's the last car right there.
Trying to get it refired.
Ooh. Just lost it coming off that corner, that right-hander down the hill and hit the curb. Looks like he was already loose when he hit the curb, which just made it worse.
And now the caution comes out. So Reed Sorensen brings out the full course yellow here in Sonoma. Robbie Gordon will get back his 1 second lead, and the field will tighten up once again. And this could really play into the fuel mileage factor. And that could be big today. Caution's out at Sonoma. Robbie Gordon, the race leader. Caution here in Sonoma. Robbie Gordon is the race leader behind that Toyota Pace truck. There are 42 cars on the lead lap. Dave Blaney is the lucky dog. Sterling Marlin out of the race with engine failure earlier in the day. Time for our Aflac trivia question. Who is the only driver to compete in every race this season that has not led a lap? second
these
beat in
questions.
every race this season that has not led a lap. Wow. Could be somebody we've been talking about today.
Juan Pablo.
Yeah. Come on, change it.
Wally,
yes.
You got to read the notes they send to you each week. They're not junk mail.
What are you talking about?
Juan Pablo Montoya's the answer.
There you go. Very good, Larry Mack. Our Aflac trivia question. There's the duck. And there's our old buddy BP. Used to cue the duck for us. Got a good seat for the race today.
Are you telling me, Larry, that they send us the answers before we go to a race?
They send you information about the race.
So that means I still have to do some kind of homework.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I just look for slob when that question comes up, because I know he's holding the answer somewhere.
Now you got to explain that. That's our stat guy up here, Bill Sloboda. Looks like he's having a great day. I don't know. Look at these guys coming down pit road. This is about the window people were talking about. Snyder said 67, and by gosh, here they come. Lindsay.
And if you remember, Carl Edwards hasn't pitted since lap 28, so he will get 4 new tires, as we're told, and fuel. His crew chief is giving motivation, saying, guys, visualize, focus, do what you can do.
Jamie McMurray here on pit road. I tell you guys, though, this is going to be very tight on making it on fuel from here to the end. There'll be 42 to go when they leave pit road, probably 40 when they get the green flag. That's a long way, Matt.
Boris said was basically following the car in front. Frankie Stoddard says, you are going to have to give me some laps if we stop here. And that's exactly what Boris is going to have to do, going fuel conservation mode, packing that fuel cell full of fuel. A little slow on exit, stalled it trying to get out, Ralphie.
Well, and 2 of Kurt Busch is in as well. They're going to make a chassis adjustment to that car as well. He's trying to fight his way back up after having the incident down in the final corner. Kurt Busch is underway.
And a lot of guys had trouble getting out of their pit stalls. There's Boris Said being pushed down pit road. Ron Fellows had to back up to get out of his stall.
Larry talked about it.
Keep it going. Clear high. 3100.
You make a mistake right now, leaving the pits or in the pits could cost you.
And we saw a lot of these guys, what would you call it, lugging off of pit road, because it's so hard to get your car going.
Oh man. 66 was probably told, that's Geoff Green, probably told he was clear when he left pit lane, and Johnny Sauter in the 70 car was coming in. Now, I'm sure the 66 got some serious issues on that right front, because he hit Johnny Sauter hard. And then you see Boris being pushed.
And Fellows trying to sneak out.
But these gears are very, very long. They're tall first gears, so you can use them in the corners on the racetrack. So when that happens, then you can't get out of the pit. So you give up a little on pit lane to make it up on the racetrack. But something like that happens sometimes.
And the 66.
And he does have issues, yeah, because I thought he hit him pretty hard.
He's also too fast exiting pit road, so just to add to his list of troubles. Frankie Stoddard, Boris Said's crew chief, one of the more excitable crew chiefs along pit road.
Obviously somebody was annoying him behind him.
Matt?
Now Frankie is shaking that off. Now he's just trying to compartmentalize it. He's basically telling Boris, look, I know you're sorry, because Boris keeps apologizing on the radio. Says, look, we've got to get the fuel mileage of our lives here. Shut it off and coast as much as possible. We know we're going to need to pick up a few laps here. Do all you can to help me out. Marty.
Well, Matt, just to give you an update on what the leaders are thinking in terms of fuel mileage, most all of them cannot make it all the way to the checkered flag. They're about 2.5 laps short. They will need some caution to make it from here to the end.
And it's going to be interesting to see how it works out for Robbie Gordon and Tony Stewart and some of these other guys up front. Tony Stewart was in 15th on lap 47 when we restarted, was running 4th. Was faster than Robbie before the caution came out on lap 68.
All right, I talked about somebody getting up there and putting some pressure as Geoff Green's car is finally caught on fire. I'm sure that tire is just going to come apart. Oof, that's looking pretty ugly right now.
Geoff, stop.
must have knocked off a line or something there. But anyway, Tony Stewart is going to start giving some pressure to Robbie Gordon, and that's what's got to happen. And that's a lot of pressure right there.
Stewart stays in the gas.
And you know, Stewart made a great pass there. He was in position. And Robbie looks like he's had a little bit of trouble on the restart. His car doesn't start going until the second half of that lap after a restart. Stewart may have saw that, but he made a really nice pass. He jumped out there and he got in position to be in the right place on that right-hander. Rolls down in there. Robbie probably felt him more than he saw him. Gave him a little bit of room. And here's where he paid it off.
And through turn 11, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to take second from Robbie Gordon. So Stewart to first, Jr. to second, Gordon slips to third.
Robbie might have used it up a little.
Ryan Newman, Jimmy Johnson. J.J. Yaley runs sixth.
It'll be interesting to watch that 7-car Robbie Gordon and see if Robbie just maintains the nice smooth pace that he's been running when he was in the lead.
Sure. Yeah, I'll be watching for that. Matt?
Bill, lap 73, that's when they are looking at hitting pit road for the 7. But before that last caution, when Robbie was out front and Big Orange was back in third, this was the conversation, the concern on the radio of the 7.
The guy we're racing is going to be the guy behind him, Murray. That's who will be racing here.
I told you guys that 2 weeks ago. To come down to him and Gordon, and no matter where they're at, they'll get there at the end. They always do.
Robbie thought he had a tire going down, but then one of his spotters on the track said, you've been dipping your left rear off in the dirt. Maybe that's the sensation that you're feeling, because he thought he had a soft tire on the left rear.
Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart have combined to win 14 of the last 19 road course races. This pit summary brought to you by NASCAR Hot Pass, only on DirecTV. Stewart now running first. Earnhardt Jr. second. Made those passes of Robbie Gordon on the track.
Jimmy Johnson right there in the 5th spot, right behind Ryan Newman. Newman's been up there all day running a good race.
And Johnson started 42nd. He and Jeff Gordon not allowed to practice or qualify on Friday after their cars failed inspection. Wow, some heavy braking there.
A lot of them are lighting them up, huh?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of smoke up that right front. What's happening is you're on the brakes, you're turning the car, and you're on at the same time. What happens is that right front gets light. When you're turning the car, you're on the brakes, everything is on the left front. So when you get on the brakes, that right front being light, when it comes back down on the ground, it's stopped, so it slides across the racetrack. And you got to get off it right away, because sometimes it's very hard for that car to turn.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. heads for his pits. He's never had a top 10 finish here. His best finish at this track, 11th. Gives up the 2nd spot to head for pit road with 71 laps complete and now 72 in the books. Ralph.
Well, lap 72 is exactly what they expected to pit Dale Earnhardt Jr. and that's what they're doing. He's had a very good run today. In fact, at the halfway point, he said, boys, write this down. It's halfway and we're top 10. He's just happy to be in contention here this afternoon. And the crew goes over to wall. They go to work on the right side of the car. We're expecting 4 tires and fuel. No major changes to the car. Junior very happy with the setup on this Budweiser number 8. Service is done, and here goes Junior.
And you can see the trouble he has getting out of his pit stall. Off of pit road.
Impala SS.
There's your race leader, Tony Stewart. Robbie Gordon has now inherited second after Junior pitted. Stewart is just coming through, heading for turn 10 and 11. See the information on the Pepsi Pit Command. And more on Tony from Ralph.
Bill, this is a really good time to watch the lap times on Tony Stewart, because as soon as he took over the lead, the crew said, Tony, give us 6 of the hardest laps you got in you. He says the car's doing pretty good. He's not feeling any major problems. white.
Yeah, I think everybody's been complaining about that a little bit, Ralph, this weekend. It seems like, ooh,
what was that?
Yeah, he got on the brakes and the car started to get sideways, but recovered. And don't forget, he's pushing this car probably as hard as he can right now.
And it's just little things like that that come back and bite you on a road course. Nice catch. Martin Truex Jr. is on pit road. Ralph?
Here comes Martin down pit lane. This is chassis 057. It's a brand new chassis for Martin Truex. His service complete. He is back underway. No major changes to this car as well.
Whoa, a little trouble there.
Man. That was unusual. Here's Robbie Gordon on pit road. Gives up second place. Got a long trip down pit road. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out because these guys are going to have to catch the field now. And the other guys that stopped earlier going to be hoping for caution. Coming your way, Matt.
Bill, it seems like it's been all or nothing at Infineon for Robbie Gordon over the past few years. He hasn't led the last 3 races and back on track today. Now, Gordon just came on the radio when they told him to pit next time by. Says, are you sure? Is that not too early? Gene Neat simply said, look, just trust us. Remember one thing, Robbie Gordon earlier in the race, he said he had about a half a second left in the car. He was just riding, just pacing himself. He needs a good solid stop now so he can make up what he lost on the racetrack, and he is away. Solid stop by these 7 guys.
Good job, guys. All clear.
On board with Robbie as he gets back up to speed. And now Tony Stewart gives up the race lead and heads for his pit stall.
Stop you short because the 48's coming in around you. We're going to stop you a little short, okay? 4 needs water. 4. You got it.
Headed your way, Ralph.
This should be the last pit stop for Tony Stewart. He slides in. Now they're planning on working on that forward bike. You can see they put the bar in to make an adjustment to the track bar. They're going to go a half round down on that track bar. Outside of that, it's going to be fuel and tires. And they think they should be in a pretty good position with their car. And off goes Tony Stewart. Just in front of him, the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. I asked Chad Canals, will this be your last stop? He still wasn't sure. Service is done. The low Chevy is underway.
And here comes Jeff Gordon challenging Jamie McMurray for the lead. Gordon started 41st. McMurray started on the pole. Matt Kenseth has gone around. This is not Matt's favorite place. Road course racing is not exactly his style. Gordon in second behind McMurray. They head for 11. Kevin Harvick in third. Then Montoya runs fourth. Kyle Busch fifth.
This time, pit, fuel only.
That was on the 24 radio.
That was fuel only, Larry.
Yeah, I know what they're doing, Wally. I knew when they put it about 68, they could not make it with that 24 car to the end. So the reason he elected to bring the pit road into that caution with 42 to go was to put the tires on this way on the green. They'll spend just a little bit of time there, just topping it off with fuel. That's a good move, knowing they couldn't make it on lap 68.
Those guys have a long way to go on fuel that stopped under the caution. Marty, how about Harvick?
Well, Bill, conventional wisdom in the garage area this morning said the RCR cars were getting some of the best fuel mileage yesterday in practice. That may prove true today in the race as well. Kevin Harvick pitted on lap 67. I just asked Todd Berrier, how close are you on fuel? He said it's too close to call if it goes green. If we get any caution caution at all, we're good to go to the end.
Here comes Gordon. Gives up second place. And we heard this would be fuel only.
When you get around to the line there.
Here comes Lindsay.
This ain't going to take long. This ain't going to take long right here. Come on down.
Bill, just like you said, their whole key right now is simply track position, fuel mileage, staying out there, gas only. Jeff Gordon feels really good about his car. We'll see how far he can get.
These road course races, there are so many cards in the deck. It's just amazing how they play out. Larry, you got a few cards you want to play?
Well, what I just wanted you to notice, they stopped for about 3 to 4 seconds. So by putting those tires on that last caution, they saved themselves about 8 to 9 seconds under this green flag run.
So now Harvick runs second behind McMurray and Montoya to third. Joe Nemechek. Not the first time he's been in trouble today. Frustration of a driver on the road course at Sonoma. Jamie McMurray is the race leader, but we've got a long way to go. Things are heating up on a June Sunday afternoon at Infineon Raceway in Sonoma, California. Jamie McMurray is the race leader. Kevin Harvick is trying to chase him down, and Juan Pablo Montoya is right behind him in third. This summer, prepare to experience NASCAR like never before. A revolutionary new way to watch racing is coming to TNT during the Pepsi 400 from Daytona. TNT will unveil its new wide-open coverage. Wide-open coverage will bring seconds behind the leaders, pitted under the green after leading 48 laps today.
I may need help from Larry on this one.
Well, in the meantime, let's check with Marty.
Well, guys, this is getting interesting down here on pit road in the speed department. I think the top cars are pretty close to the same. Jamie McMurray, though, in the fuel department is not equal to the man behind him. McMurray, 3 laps short on fuel. No way they can make it to the end of this race. They definitely need some caution laps. Kevin Harvick, however, I just talked to Todd Berrier once again. He reiterated they are very close on fuel, even under green. They think they should be able to make it all the way. Interesting for Kevin Harvick in that 29 car. Juan Pablo Montoya behind Harvick, however, is 2 laps short. They too need at least 1 caution period in these final few laps at Infineon if they hope to make it all the way on fuel. Juan Pablo currently in third. Matt?
Kyle Busch right on the line of making it. He currently runs in the 4th position. They keep stressing to him. Alan Gustafson says every lap, you have to save me fuel. Meanwhile, back in the 5th position, Jeff Burton. They've continued to calculate their fuel mileage. They are 0.2 of a lap to the good. So at this point, this could be a career Infineon kind of day for Jeff Burton.
Last week's race winner, Carl Edwards, hopes that they can make it on fuel. I just talked to crew chief Bob Osborne. That's exactly what he said. I hope so. They last pitted on lap 67. They took fuel right now. Carl in the 6th spot. To Matt.
Clint Boyer, not quite as good a fuel mileage as his teammates in the 29 and the 31, but right now, Boyer is right on the line of making it.
Well, I mean, if you're Kevin Harvick, all you got to do is ride, don't you? I mean, you know,
if you're sure.
Yeah, I mean, if these guys are confident and they've got the fuel mileage, if this thing goes green, just stay where you're at. These guys are going to be going away from you because they're going to need to come in for gas in extra time.
And meanwhile, Robbie Gordon's back there in 31st, hoping everybody in front of him has to stop. Then he can come up, re-inherit the lead. That's a lot of hoping to do. Jamie McMurray leads at Sonoma. Tough day for some at Sonoma, fun day for others. Right now, Jamie McMurray is the race leader. Kevin Harvick runs second, Juan Pablo Montoya in third. Then it's Kyle Busch, Jeff Burton, and Carl Edwards. Marty, what are you thinking?
Well, I was watching Kevin Harvick out there, and we were talking about how he was pressuring Jamie McMurray, who's in front of him. I think Harvick's game plan's changed a little bit, Wally. I think now he's more pacing Jamie McMurray. You see he's falling back a little bit from McMurray. He's not pushing him. He knows McMurray cannot make it on fuel. He also knows that Montoya cannot make it on fuel. So I think at this point, Harvick just out there pedaling, turning in laps.
I mean, that's what I'd be doing. If you know the guy in front of you and right behind you has got to stop an extra time, there's no reason to abuse your equipment. He's running great lap times, and he's not abusing it.
And these guys cannot make it if it stays green, but they stopped on lap 68 under the caution, hoping there would be more cautions that would give them the fuel mileage that would get them to the end. But Harvick's crew believes he can get there.
Looking good, man. Plenty of room.
And one thing Kyle did tell us this morning is that some of the Chevrolets had gotten very good mileage.
Yeah. And that is true.
It's when he wasn't bragging about his golf game, as I recall. There's Harvick. You know, if Montoya can get up to the 29, it'll be interesting to see how he tries to pass them. There are your top three. Just to update a couple of other cars, you see the ticker going across the top of your screen. Robbie Gordon runs 30th, about 47 seconds behind the leader. Jimmy Johnson is 31st. Jeff Gordon is 19th. He's 28 seconds behind the race leaders. Our fellow broadcaster Kyle Petty is in the 14th spot. And his day got off to an interesting start. Here's how some of it went.
That's a good move. I don't care what anybody says. All right, this is the part of the race where you just kind of settle into a rhythm, because I'm not going to catch a bunch of these guys, and when I do, I'm going to wear my stuff out trying to get around them. Tried to sneak in when Reed passed the 44. Couldn't get it. You saw how he shut the door on me right there. That's road racing, baby! Watch these crowd in front of me. The 1, the 07, 43. They are running at each other. Told you guys they were going to wreck. Y'all are in the truck watching.
Thank you, Kyle. Well done. He loves road course, and like you. I mean, I know you love it, but he really loves driving this track in Watkins Glen.
And he's pretty good on it. Yep. I mean, Kyle does a good job. He run the 24 Hours Daytona a bunch of times, and he'll drive anything on a road course.
Your top three cars, 20 to go. McMurray, Harvick, and Montoya. Harvick's guys believe he can make it, and they don't believe anybody else can. Robbie Gordon wants
getting to be a little bit hairy, isn't it? Everybody's tires are smoking, the cars are hot,
TNT Sports live at
slippery.
Infineon Raceway in Sonoma, California. There goes your new second place car behind race leader Jamie McMurray, Juan Pablo Montoya.
Lots of brake smoke.
Went around Kevin Harvick, and this is a situation where Harvick knows I can make it, and you can't.
Yep, he's not going to force it. It's just a good pass. I mean, Montoya set him up for an outbraking maneuver, but absolutely, I'm sure Harvick looked up in the mirror, and he knows that he can't go as far as he can on fuel, so don't force the issue.
Marty?
That was more of a wave by than anything, guys, as you pointed out, Wally. They reminded him once again that Juan Pablo was short on fuel. Don't push the issue. 20 laps to go. We've got plenty of time, so Harvick let him go by. Up front, though, Jamie McMurray radioed to his crew and said, guys, I'm running out of fuel. They said there's no way. Now, yesterday in practice, they did have a fuel pickup problem in the 26 car that turned out to be an ignition problem. They thought it was a fuel pickup problem. They changed out the entire ignition system, so now they're a little concerned in the 26 bit. That may be the issue. Jamie just asked again, can I go hard enough to stay in front of the 42? They said at this point, there's no way we're making it on fuel. Go as hard as you want.
Which is exactly what Montoya is doing, too. He would love to get up there and lead this race.
Your tire squeal there. I wonder if someone went off track. It was a little louder than normal.
See him smoking the tires.
Yeah, just about out. Everybody seems like they're smoking that right front going into that turn over there.
163 races since Jamie McMurray went to victory lane at Charlotte in his second career start. And if you believe the fuel mileage numbers, he's going to have a tough time getting there today.
The only person in this race that I see that Dad has worked with was Butch Leitzinger. He worked with him in the IMSA side of things.
I mean, everybody's trying to save here.
He's in 35th. He was up to 25th or so, and he spun. He started
again. I don't think they're going to listen.
32nd.
If you're talking to Montoya, Montoya sees that
But
lead.
you see everybody that spun's got a -1.
In second right now, inside of 16 to go at Infineon Raceway in Sonoma, California. Jamie McMurray leads.
He scooted ahead a
He is
little.
the race leader, but he's got his hands full with Juan Pablo Montoya on his bumper.
Yeah, I think Jamie's feeling.
Oh, we're going to go right here because it looks like a crash is coming up. I like to kind of Reader's Digest version some of these races.
See if he doesn't quite have enough here.
Not close enough?
No, he's not close enough, but trust me, McMurray's looking in that mirror. He's not giving him the inside, but now he's got to be careful there too because he's off the line.
That's an old saying of shortening it up a little bit, condensing it.
Sometimes that'll mess up your line, getting from the middle off, and a driver will get you there.
Oh, shoot, I
So
missed
Montoya
it.
will continue to work
Sorry.
over McMurray. The question is, can either of these cars find some way to make it to the finish without running out of fuel? Now it's time for our Nextel Getting It Done call of the race. Give a call to a car or a crew that's done a good job today. Want to pick one out?
Kind of early, isn't it?
Well,
no, not too early. Oh boy, I hate to pick one now.
I'm going to give it to Robbie Gordon, just for having a good race. See if their strategy comes back to help them out here. So I'll give a call out to Robbie today.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I'm going to go with the 26 car. I mean, McMurray's run good here. Since obviously started on the pole. Jamie's done a great job all race. He's got one of the best road course drivers in the world on his rear bumper right now. So I'll give it a call to Jamie McMurray.
Our Nextel call of the race. Just our opinion. Feel free to add yours.
Oh, sure they will.
Harvick in third, Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, Geoff Burton. There's a great shot up the hill. Right-hander.
Montoya's definitely getting into the corner better, but it seems like Jamie McMurray is getting off the corner a little bit better. We heard Marty talk about the 42. A little bit of forward bite problem, and I think you can see that. This is a great shot, and you can see McMurray can pull out the corners a little bit better, but Montoya drives in a little bit deeper.
Activity on pit road, Matt.
Ron Fellows gave up the 9th position, Bill. They just could not squeak out enough mileage on fuel. They're only going to need about 2 seconds of fuel, just a splash, and he's away.
And again, because you cannot get these cars out of the pit stall because of the gearing, the transmission, you're going to lose a little bit more time while you're in there.
Yeah, it's interesting. Some of these guys just drop the clutch and light the tires up. But then you got to slow down again and be on pit, the pit road speed.
Heading into 11.
See, if he was just a little bit closer, you would have seen an aggressive move on braking. But it just doesn't seem like he's close enough in turn 10 to set him up for the pass in 11.
Started 32nd, right on the bumper of race leader Jamie McMurray. Montoya won the Busch race in Mexico City earlier this year after contact with Scott Pruitt, the race leader.
He's close enough now. If he can stay there, he may try it down on that.
You watch that 28 from the in-car, it's really easy to tell he's losing
The
the
other thing
nose.
he's got to hope for is that McMurray doesn't run out of gas while he's right there.
Like where McMurray's car points.
McMurray, and he may force McMurray to making a mistake. Now McMurray just took a defensive line here, so this should get interesting. No, not enough. But McMurray now is driving in his mirror, and that sometimes ruins your rhythm.
He can only defend it so much. You're good.
Because you're worried about what he's doing and not focused on what you're doing.
Exactly. And if you miss your mark on a corner because you're looking up in the mirror at the guy that's trying to pass you, you may blow that corner and open up the door for him to pass you.
You have to get through 10 good to get through 11 well.
Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, McMurray saw him coming. Oh, and he blew it.
And Montoya could not hang on to it.
Whoops.
And McMurray stays in the lead.
Lost that nose again.
That'll peg the frustration meter.
That was good stuff.
Montoya may be so surprised that it was right there. On these road courses, just the instant lapse of concentration costs you.
Yes. And not that there was any lack of concentration. I mean, he just went in really, really deep. He saw the opening. He was close enough. Locked up that right front tire. When you lock up the right front tire, it won't turn. And that's why he went straight.
And here he comes again. Look at him go.
Yeah, they're driving into that corner really, really hard. They are smoking that right front down and when they're under braking.
Less than 8 to go. Kevin Harvick sits in third. Again, the story from pit road is both these cars, short on fuel, will not be able to reach the finish.
Interesting.
Back to 11.
Watch Montoya as he works up here.
I started off the beginning of this stream with some really early stuff, like a real quick background on Dad, up to the Hall of Fame induction, and there's the video of that as well on the beginning of this stream before I started playing this race. So if you're interested in old school stuff like that.
In his first season in the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series, has the lead at Sonoma.
I'll put this on VOD as soon as I'm done.
Marty?
Well, guys, both crew chiefs down here like head coaches in a football game, guiding their drivers through these laps. They both know they cannot make it all the way on fuel. They've reminded their drivers of that a couple of times and reminded them to be smooth. They also know Harvick, lurking behind, can make it all the way on fuel.
There's Harvick in that yellow car back in third. Here's the pass for the lead.
Wow. I mean, Montoya just drove up beside him.
That's surprising, yes. So now Montoya will come around and get credited with leading a lap.
7 to go
That's
now.
his first lap led this season.
I'm going to grab me one more tea, 6 to go, and use the ladies' room. Hi, Liz.
Been on pit road.
I'm doing good.
There's Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart. Gordon's in 11th, Stewart in 12th.
I got an appointment this morning, and I'm moving my whole rig and everything to what you would call the outback. Moving to the mountains of North Carolina.
Caution on lap 68, basically right
For,
at the edge of their fuel window.
With the RV anyway.
From some of the numbers we got in the garage earlier this weekend,
I might frequent Florida a little bit more often than I did before.
You see Montoya just going to the
Yeah,
bottom of your screen.
it's gotten cooler today. It's like 77 right now, which I'm kind of freezing. I know that's weird, but it's been so like 90s hot,
when they get to the line this time.
and it's a big change. The cold front come through.
You can be on that gas.
They raised my rent so high that it's above what I have for income. So I am moving back to where it's about half the price in North Carolina. My parents are in Daytona, and that's the main reason I came down here in 2020, because we didn't know what the world is going to do. But I'm tired of being so strapped, and I don't like living like check to check or worse, you know. Like when your bills don't match your income, you got to do something.
Piece Matt did with Juan on the
I
all-state
have
countdown to green.
retirement. I'm on retirement, so, or what they would call pension.
Again, this is back in 10th now. Gordon in 10th. Stewart in 11th. 28.5 seconds behind the race leader. Big story for the 24 team as Tony looks to the inside. Oh, contact.
Tony got in there. I mean, he was sideways wrecking. Jeff Gordon, I think,
Sonoma, though.
from spinning out right there.
Yeah.
McMurray is pulled right up on the
The rent where I'm at now, where I first got here 4 years ago, it's double now. And 4 years ago was even higher than what I paid before. So. Yep. I called the girl that owns the property and I said, your camp lot's still available? And she said, oh yeah. She wanted me to come that day. Come now.
It's funny to say,
but I said, I gotta organize stuff.
Then try to say, okay, knock a second off your time. It's hard to do that.
It's a lot of to do with living in an RV full time. They frown upon it.
There you see, clearly missed the turn.
And well, it's a fifth wheel trailer. It's like a home in here. You know, it's like a house, like a little house.
It knocks off your rhythm.
And
when you try to slow down.
Yeah,
you're used to doing it one way.
Exactly. All out.
Last year, the contract said you can't live here more than 6 months. It can't be a full-time resident. You got to have another property that you own. And that was scary because I'm like, oh, now what? But this year, they not only, the power used to be included, now they're putting meters on us, so we pay our own power, putting water meters, so we pay our own water, and charging us more rent than I paid last year, with power included. So it's like a $300 a month increase. And it put me into a panic for the last 2 weeks. I've been so spun out. I know, right? I've been so spun out. I looked around the area in Florida from Jacksonville all the way down to Melbourne, and I see nothing. Actually, all the way down to Cocoa. And well, Melbourne is further south, but nothing for. I mean, there's plenty available, but it's the same cost or maybe $100 less than they want me to pay now. All right.
Bill, it has happened to Carl Edwards.
Stop the bleeding and go back, run to my safety zone.
So right now his crew is getting up on the wall. They're going to bring him down, fill him back up.
It's in the North Carolina mountains. It's in a horse town.
Keep running like you're running, but it's not like he wanted to end this day.
Coasting his way through turns 10, through turn 10.
Wow.
And then on to pit
Yeah,
road on the
that's
left-hand
kind
side.
of, I think, why they're doing the things here. Because I've heard my own family say that their power has gone up a lot. So where I'm going is in the mountains of North Carolina.
Gas at the worst place you can, just past pit entrance.
It's a town I lived in since 2013. I lived in that town for 7 years. It's a little tiny town. Yeah, 109 people in the town.
Marty, but you're right. I mean, if he bobbled getting off of 11, he's going to have a hard
2
time
to
making all
go.
the way back around.
McMurray's going to end up with a P3. They used up their stuff.
Montoya was told he wouldn't have enough fuel to make it to the finish, and that's what Harvick's team told him about Montoya. Whereas Harvick should have enough fuel.
Let her roll all you can. Let her roll all you can.
Marty Snyder.
Well, guys, is Montoya trying to save all the fuel he can. You can feel the nerves down here in the 42 pit. This is a young man who grew up not having enough money for public transportation, he recalls. He used to take his rollerblades everywhere he would go. He got a shot in 1997 at the Formula 3000 season, and that was the break he was looking for. Finished second in that championship in his rookie year, and the F1 teams took notice. The Williams team picked him up, put him in their F3000 ride, won the championship, beat out Nick Heidfeld.
I know Montoya took a lot of crap, especially I think was he not the one that hit that jet truck once? That was a mess.
Hold out for Montoya.
Less than a lap ago, white flag in the air at Sonoma.
But watching him drive this race at Sonoma, the kid got skills.
He's got about 4 seconds on Harvick right now, so if he can just drive it smooth and keep the thing running, he's got a good shot. He's done a great job today. I mean, he really has run aggressively, but he's raced everybody pretty much clean. Got a half a lap to go.
All good. It's clear by like 30 or 40. All clear. Lots of room.
There's Harvick in second. Montoya told Matt Yoakum earlier this week in the piece we ran earlier today that he didn't think his childhood dream of becoming a professional racer would ever come true. Because you don't get many professional racers
See, if the
coming out
sun
of
is rising on New Smyrna Beach or Ponce Inlet, they did all these 360 cams now, and I like the originals.
Juan Pablo Montoya coming to the checker flag. The fuel lives and Montoya wins at Sonoma. That's amazing.
That is amazing. And there's a
Great job, everybody! Hell yeah! Good job, buddy. Good job, driver. Good job, everybody. Good job, Rudy. Good job, motor guys.
I second that.
He's the
I wonder
first
why all their
born
beach
driver
cams
to win
are
a
so
cup
screwed
race
up.
since Canadian
It's like they're looking at
overalls
people,
Martinsville
not
in
them.
1974. And only the second ever. Juan Montoya is the winner. How about that?
A lot of people at Sonoma, I can't believe it. No wonder they keep racing there.
Is brought to you by Subway Restaurants, Subway Eat Fresh. By FedEx, every day is race day. By DirecTV, ride shotgun on race day with NASCAR Hot Pass only on DirecTV. And by Miller Lite. For an award-winning taste, there's no debate. Miller Lite. Good call. And a good call by the 42 crew. They got Juan Pablo Montoya, his first win in his 17th NASCAR Next Stop
Wow, he's
Series
shorter
start.
than you'd think
Lindsey
he was.
Zarniak.
I'm here with Donnie
A
Wingo,
little
crew chief
bit,
for
I
Juan
think.
Pablo Montoya. Considering how this weekend started for you
Donnie
guys,
Wingo.
qualifying so poorly, Donnie, how good does this feel for you?
I mean, it feels really good. You know, not for just the Texaco Hamlin team. I mean, with all their support, we couldn't do this, but the whole organization, you know. It's been a long time coming. We've had a few seconds, but finally to get a win for this whole group of people is great. You know, everybody back at the shop has been really working hard, and we've been struggling a little bit lately, but nobody's given up. And to leave here with a win, to finally get a win for those guys, it just makes me feel good to be a part of it.
You told me he's a special driver, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. I mean, no, definitely. I mean, you know, we qualified bad, but we had a really good car in practice. You know, we just kind of missed it a little bit qualifying. And so today we had to play a little bit of catch-up, so we had to take a gamble there at the end, and we made our last stop, and he saved enough fuel to make it, because, I mean, we had it figured to be like a lap short. So he did a good job saving fuel. Everybody did a good job on stops, and the motor shop did a great job. I mean, without the fuel mileage, we never would have made it.
Donnie Wingo helps Juan Pablo Montoya find his first victory in the Nextel Cup. Bill?
Thanks, Lindsay. Toyota would like to congratulate Juan Pablo Montoya for winning today's Toyota Save Mart 350. He's in victory lane, and so is Marty Snyder.
Well, the first report to him was that he was about 3 laps short on fuel. The second report to him was that he was 2 laps short on fuel, and at the end they said, you know what, you're only about 1 lap short. I think you should go for it. Juan Montoya, 31-year-old Colombian native, wins in the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. How about that? How'd you save all that fuel?
I think it was the work on the team. You know, yesterday we leaned the car out, and I had a lot of problems getting out in first gear out of the 2 hairpins, but, you know, it paid off.
What was the emotion like in the car? Were you worried about the fuel there on the final few laps?
I knew it was going to be close, and I said, you know, save as much you can, and if it is, it is, and we did a good job.
Tell me about your pass on McMurray. It looked awfully smooth. Did it feel as smooth as it looked?
Yeah, I had a good run, and I thought, can't outbrake him in all the hairpins because he's very easy to brake, so that was the best place.
You act like you've been here before.
15 years ago.
But I mean, it means a lot, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I get my first Nextel Cup with my Texaco in Dutch and all Chip Ganassi. It's huge.
All right, guys, he does it on fuel mileage. Juan Pablo saves it in the end, gets his first ever Nextel Cup Series win. Bill?
Thanks, Marty. First Carve Tomorrow win for a make other than Chevy. Celebration in Victory Lane about to begin. And Juan celebrating in the car.
Good job, buddy. Good job, driver. Good job, everybody. Good job, Rudy. Good job, motor guys.
It's always exciting. Well, let's jump here. And I'm going to sign off and raid out. But what I'm showing... Oops, what the heck did I hit that button? I was going to show you a sunrise live out here on Ponce Inlet. Ponce Inlet is where the original beach races took place in Daytona. And the sun is just rising. So I think it's nice to show you that when I raid out. Let's see, Ponce Inlet. I went to enlarge it. And I hit the square. The X, not the square. Right there. And I'll shut off the live chat and let you see the sunrise at Ponce Inlet. This is where they raced on the beach. If you watch the old videos, come around the corner, went down the road and all that, right down this shore up to the North Turn restaurant. So anyway, we've talked about that before. Let me raid out and get my business done today and hopefully start packing. Start packing. Who's running live today? Kendamore? Grumpy Beard? Oh, Wouter. Wouter is just going on. Let's go to Wouter. And you all have a wonderful Tuesday. I will be back tomorrow morning if the sun rises for Ton. Good old Tanya. That's me. Bye, guys. Love you.